just rather watch me fall from a quarter mile. I can see you at the call. Think about it, ring won't tell you what I saw. When you break it off, you'll see who had it all. You had it all. You said you wanted to fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, oblivion. Oh, going into oblivion. Into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, I'm going in. You can't fall asleep when you're counting stars. Get it together. Your mind can't sleep when you let it serve. I know you wanna see me fall from a quarter mile. I can see you at the call. Think about it, ring won't tell you what I saw. When you break it off, you'll see who had it all. You had it all. You said you wanted to fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, oblivion. Oh, going in. Fall into oblivion. Fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, I'm going in.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this round of 32 matchup for the CEA Open League playoffs. Today we have a beautiful matchup between Marquette University's B team and the University of Wisconsin Whitewater A team. Today I am joined by my co-caster here.
Hey guys, I'm Bagel.
And I think we're going to have definitely a really exciting map. And the first map we're going to be seeing is Coastline.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that should be a really exciting matchup here. Coastline's one of those super frag-heavy maps, and both these teams seem to have a lot of very capable fraggers, so I'm sure we'll see a pretty explosive match between these two teams.
Yep, and Coastline is definitely one of those maps that just like the way it's structured, it's very frag-heavy and all of that sort of stuff. It lends itself to a more exciting playstyle, so you guys are definitely going to get a treat as you're sitting at home.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're gonna get a treat for ourselves too here, and then after that, we'll be going over onto Clubhouse, and then if we need to, we'll have that decider um, over on Villa.
And so for Marquette University, we're going to be watching their team comprised of Baboon, UMP, Droid, Pickle, and Apache. And on the Wisconsin Whitewater side, we'll see Brent, Boomin, Kaifor, EK Nolly, and Despair. Do you have anybody you think we should be really looking out for, Bagel?
I'm thinking we should keep an eye on Pickle over on Marquette's side. He seemed to be holding up the team on the fragging side. He has a 2.14 KD coming into this match. So hopefully he'll be able to pull off some magic for that team tonight.
Yeah, definitely should be looking forward to seeing one of the top fraggers in Open League. Maybe try to pop off and bring his team over to victory.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty interesting match for these two. Marquette University coming out as the first seed from Division 14, and they ended up with 19 points with 6 wins and 1 draw. And then Wisconsin Whitewater coming out as the second seed from Division 9 with 4 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss. And it's important to note one of those wins was unfortunately a forfeit victory that they had in week 4.
Yeah, it's definitely Marquette not really wanting to take any losses on their record. They're going to try to keep that as spotless as possible, and definitely showing that B teams shouldn't just be taken advantage of. Sometimes you really got to watch out for them, and they can come out of the woodwork and really surprise you just a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Those B teams sometimes, yeah, they shock you and maybe make themselves look like the A team sometimes.
Yep, and so we will be starting in about 10 seconds now. We'll be getting into the ban phase of Coastline. So once that gets in, we'll be able to talk about that kind of stuff. Are you expecting any specific bans as we're going into this map?
Obviously, a typical ban we're going to see almost every map is going to be a mirror ban on defense. I'm not quite sure what these two teams are going to look for as any attacker bans. Usually, you're going to see a Thatcher ban a lot of the times, but on Coastline, not much hard breach involved, so you don't really need a Thatcher to clear out that utility. So they could move that away and then take a more. They could ban out an operator that they really just don't want to play against because they, just maybe annoys them or they don't feel the desire to have to play it for themselves either.
Yeah, and that is definitely the case most likely when they're taking a Blackbeard off the board because he's just quite an annoying operator that you can really just tank an extra headshot. And when you have some really important windows on some of these sites, such as Hookah Billiards, or if maybe you go upstairs to Master Bedroom, those 2 big windows are just such important choke points that a Jackal can a Blackbeard can really just cut through and make it really hard to challenge. In conjunction with that, Jackal will be going off the board as well, which is one of those really strong anti-roaming operators. So most likely Wisconsin Whitewater is going to be trying to spread out their defense just that little bit.
Yeah, having that Jackal off the board is something you really don't want to have to deal with. Getting tracked is never anything you want to have happen to you during a defensive round, especially if you're on a roam on Coastline. Getting back to site can be quite difficult. There's not a lot of rotation capabilities, and since it's such a small map, a lot of those rotations can be covered pretty easily by the attackers.
And actually, we'll be seeing the Echo being banned, which is a pretty default ban. He's a very strong plant denial intel operator. But it is interesting to see the Legion being banned in lieu of the Mira. So Mira actually will be on the board for this map. And if you are noticing that Apache has gone ahead and picked one of the new operators in Wamai, we have gone ahead and changed our rules so these 2 operators are out of quarantine and are eligible to play in open playoffs here.
Yeah, that should be very interesting. Wamai is an operator that we just got into these playoffs here, and will be taking the role of what we would traditionally see be filled by a Jaeger, which is an operator that they have chosen not to take, which is interesting seeing how Jaeger is one of the most picked operators in the entire game.
Yeah, Jaeger is one of those really strong operators that his gadgets are amazing. He has one of the best guns on defense, as well as being a 3-speed that can just roam. He's sort of like some people say that He's one of those crutch operators for those frag-heavy defenders, and I believe a lot of people, when Wamai was introduced, did believe he was going to try to be the Jaeger replacement. But I think due to his mechanics of being like Legion, where he gets his magnets gradually over time, I do believe he's more of a Jaeger supplement as opposed to a full-on replacement.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of teams have realized that he doesn't quite fulfill the exact same role that Jaeger does, even though his kit would lead you to believe that he does. We are going to see them start over on that pretty traditional first sight of hookah billiards here. And we're going to see two roamers coming out from the side of Marquette here with the Jaeger down on inside of kitchen here, and then Valkyrie making her way over behind main desk here at Lambo doors.
Yep, and so there will be the Valkyrie of UMP going down below in conjunction with the droid Jaeger playing. And, they're going to be trying to keep their flanks open. There's not really a flank denial operator on the side of University of Wisconsin. There's no gridlock, there's no nomad, and that could allow Droid and UMP to just have absolute free reign of the map and maybe get some late flanks as they're going for this Aqua push.
Yeah, and definitely it doesn't seem like Wisconsin Whitewater has decided to push down onside of the first floor really at all here. So those two roamers will be open to make any flanks that they so desire throughout this round here.
Yep, and EK Nolly will get the first pick as he peeks aggressively onto the Evase hallway. Pickle does go down, and that's a very important operator in the form of the smoke taken off the board. Here, Kaifor is gone ahead and entered in and might run into Droid momentarily as he's droning out of this Sunrise bar, as well as UMP going on a little bit of a flank downstairs in office, possibly trying to line up a Nitro for that aforementioned Aqua push that is impending.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure where he's placed these Valkyrie cams, but if he does have one inside of Aqua or Billiards, he might be able to get a nice C4 droid actually taking out Kai4 now, putting the match back into a 4v4. That Habana going down, not able to use any of that utility to blow open any reinforced walls here.
And now Brent will also be peeking from that big window here and taking out the breach denial in the form of Baboon, playing on that safe count position, but not safe for very much longer here. Pachi will be tossing out one of those magnets to try to stop any utility dump his way as he's holding very aggressive inside of the hookah couches areas. One nade will go out and be caught by that magnet, and the Zofia is trying to push in aggressively towards Aqua.
We do see the two roamers that we mentioned earlier, Ump and Droid, trying to make their way back towards site to assist Apache, who unfortunately will go down before they're able to make a difference here in this round. And now with the 2v4, we're looking just on these roamers to try to potentially have to work with a retake situation.
Yeah, and the diffuser is going down as EK Nolly has about 2 seconds left on this. This Boomin will get the kill onto Droid, and the rest of the trades will fall out into the favor of University of Wisconsin.
Yeah, this is a pretty interesting round. Unfortunately, those anchors that were left on site were met with an onslaught that they weren't quite able to deal with, and those roamers weren't fully able to respond quite in time to save that round for them.
So unfortunately, we will have to be going into a rehost due to some settings mishaps. It should be pretty quick as it's just a slight tweak, and this will not, as Carpe is letting us know that Ubisoft deleted all of his playlists and he was in a bit of a rush today to try to push everything forward. Everybody's human, everybody makes mistakes, so the rest of this, it should be a really quick rehost. We do say he has the fastest fingers in the West when it's coming to talk about these rehosts. Here's we're just going to continue to waffle just a little bit longer until these settings are fixed.
Yeah, that first round was pretty interesting so far. It doesn't seem like the defense from Marquette was quite able to handle such an aggressive push that came from Whitewater. They seemed to anticipate more of a full map take, maybe a first floor clear before moving their way towards site, but they didn't see that, and it ended up costing them the round in a pretty unfortunate fashion.
Yeah, I think the biggest fault was the peaking of those sort of passive angles. They Wisconsin was able to get just free kills onto originally from hookah door as well as on that rappel outside a big window, and those are just not refraggable positions. That's just a lot of map control and a lot of momentum for these attackers, as they did take out the Maestro and the Smoke, which are traditionally operators that you want to keep alive as long as possible.
Yeah, especially considering that Smoke with those toxic babes able to stop any late round pushes. When he goes out so early, you don't have any of that utility to deny a push late on into the round or early on into the round if you decide to use them early. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get any of them out, and that push came in pretty much uninterrupted for the side of Wisconsin Whitewater.
Yeah, so from the Marquette side, I would probably like to see maybe less of a deep roam, maybe a little bit more closer to home, maybe stick somebody in Aqua, maybe stick somebody in VIP, and a little bit closer of angle so their rotation won't be quite as long if the anchors are to fail.
Yeah, definitely. I think that would be the first approach that I would take if I was in that situation. Having both of those roamers be so far away from site really leaves a lot of time available to the attackers if they're able to get on site so quickly, as we did see them in that previous round. That is going to give a little bit of momentum over towards the side of Whitewater, but after this rehost, who knows if they're able to keep that up for themselves. And Marquette might be using this time to maybe reevaluate and try to figure out what went wrong in that first round and adjust before it gets out of hand for them.
Yeah, definitely. What we talked about earlier when we were talking about how Coastline is just a really frag heavy map. It's one of those maps that you can't really say it's like, oh, it's super attacker sided, super defender sided. You can expect 3-3 score lines in this instance. And it's just sort of exactly how the bands go and exactly how the teams are playing that sort of shapes how the map is going to end up.
Yeah, this, like you were saying, this map definitely not either attacker or defender sided. I would go as far to say as it's really the team that is doing the best for themselves in terms of fragging and picking the correct gunfights in the correct situations is the team that will definitely come out on top here on Coastline.
Yep, and that's why some people like to call it the Dust 2 of Rainbow Six Siege, and it's just a very exciting map that is almost different every time you play it.
Yeah, definitely. And we're just waiting on the teams to get back into the lobby here. We should be up in a few seconds. Um, Hopefully, we'll be able to get back into this game before you get some of that excitement back going on. I would like to say right now, while we have this time, the winner of this is playing for a spot to play against the winner of another round of 32 match between South Arkansas University and Florida Polytechnic University, which is going to be one of those matches that we're going to see later on next week, I believe, and that should be another exciting one to watch.
Yep. Yep, I've definitely heard some really good things about Florida Polytechnic. And if we're speaking about good things, we can go ahead and just plug our sponsors just that little bit. I think one of our biggest sponsors here is Corsair. They've joined our team most recently in the league, and they've helped bulk up our prize pool as well as sponsor some really great giveaways. So if you're looking to get any high quality peripheral gear, you can go ahead and go over to corsair.com and pick up any of that. In addition to that, if you have been paying attention to any announcements on the Discord, you'll probably have seen our new CEA merch line with what's new.gg. It's some really high quality stuff. The sweatpants look great, the wall scrolls look great, the mouse pads are amazing, as well as that beautiful dad hat. You can definitely rock in a great way. Also, with our sponsorship, we can go ahead and thank Rogue Energy as well. If you use code CEA at checkout, you'll get 10% off if you need a little extra kick in your step to get a really great energy supplement.
Yeah, I'll say for myself, I could definitely use an energy supplement right now. I had a little bit of a late night. Didn't had to sleep in a little bit, but we'll make it through. We'll make it through with a little bit of excitement here. Hopefully, be able to get some good calls and ultimately see a great game. Yeah, I think we are ready now to get back into this map and resume some high quality siege action.
Yep, and once again, we want to apologize for the slight break in the action, as everybody is human, and there was a slight mess up on our part here. Nothing on the players. There's a little bit of an admin problem, but everything is good now, and we're going to go ahead and be getting right back where we left off with the University of Wisconsin up 1-0 on Coastline.
I would imagine that we're going to see Marquette go straight back to that hookah billiards bomb site, as it is the one that most teams will default to, typically the easiest to defend. And yeah, we are going to see them go right back to that. I'm curious to see if we'll see a switch up in their operator lineup. It looks like Apache is thinking about swapping out that Wamai, and yeah, we are going to see him swap out onto that bandit, which I think is going to be a good move here. That one didn't really pay off for them in the long run, and hopefully he'll be able to pull off something a little bit better this round on that bandit.
Yeah, Bandit's going to be bringing one extra nitro cell to the board, as well as those car batteries that can go ahead and electrify that wall that faces the inside of square. They did go ahead and see that there's a Habana being brought, so that is going to deny some really long angles being opened up into the site.
Yeah, having those square walls open can be a huge benefit for the attack, and as the defense, that is the last thing you want to have. Just another one of those tricky angles that you have to look out for, and it cuts off some key rotations between the two sites later on into the round.
Yeah, and it does seem as if there's going to be a lot of drone work coming in. Some great replaced drones of EK Nolly down there inside a kitchen. They were able to read in and see that's where Droid was playing most of last round. It is nice and tucked away and provide some good intel. Here, and speaking of intel, we're also seeing UMP go ahead and throw out some Vault cameras to just bring all that information in, as he is going to be going for a nice cam throw outside to see if there's any repelling attackers on that big window or anybody standing up on side of Hookah balcony.
Yeah, we might be able to see Boomin, actually, I believe, may have taken out that Vault cam quite early onto the round. Could have just been a default cam that I heard him shoot there. But if he wasn't able to take it out so early, that could end up causing some problems for his team later on to the round. I don't believe I see it still over on that ruin spawn, so it looks like he did take it out very early onto the round.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of IQ. She's one of those really great attackers that can slide up into any lineup. Her gadget is insanely powerful in the fact that it sort of counters a lot of electrical gadgets. You can find out exactly where a pulse or a vigil might be running if they're using their gadget. There's Valkyrie cameras that are so strong that you can just sort of remove their impact, as well as go beneath and possibly destroy any sort of anti-breaching measures.
Yeah, definitely. And you are also able to spot out operators that are on their phones. Boomin actually able to start off this round for us with a nice little pick onto Baboon, and then Apache answers right back for himself, refragging back onto Boomin. EK Nolly actually able to pick up one right back onto Apache. We're seeing a lot of trades back and forth real quick into the beginning of this round, and it does leave Marquette on the defensive position here on the back foot a little bit.
Yeah, being on the back foot is not something you really want when both of your Hookah defenders are now gone. The attackers, if they want to, can just go ahead and go in and take control of this B bomb site, as UMP with the Nitro Cell is playing over in towards the 90 area of the map. He isn't going to be below trying to use a Nitro. And speaking of that, Pickle is also... Actually, UMP has gone ahead and rotated right beneath, so he could rotate into Sunrise and possibly stop a plant if he gets those calls.
And we do see Despair over on the Zofia trying to defend UMP from making that push. As I'm saying that, Brent able to take out the last defender that was holding site in Pickle, and now the diffuser is going to be going down, getting planting. Kai4 able to take out UMP. It's all left to Droid in a 1v4. Going to be a post-plant situation here. Very difficult to overcome with all these repels and kite angles being held. And just like that, gets taken out by Brent on that billiards repel.
Yeah, and using the F2 to full effect here, using that very loud Twitch drone that actually Droid did see, but he did not want to fully get rid of his position by shooting it. However, that drone work did allow the proper intel for the Twitch player on their repel to just go ahead and peek out and go ahead and end this round.
Yeah, and that is another successful attack onto the Hookah site. And because of that, we are going to see Marquette go off that site and move over to kitchen service, which is typically the second site you're going to see in most of these teams' rotations. And I think that's a good call from the side of Marquette. Clearly, something isn't working out for you on Hookah Billiards. Maybe get a little bit of a reset here by switching up these sites and seeing if you can make something a little bit better happen for yourselves.
Yeah, I think the way that University of Wisconsin-Whitewater is attacking the Hookah sites is just sort of really interesting here. You don't see a whole lot of teams go for that hard Hookah window take as they were, as both times just the sledge was just getting really great picks aggressively on that door and wasn't being punished for any sort of overpeak. But here, as we move to kitchen, it's going to be all about vertical play here, as there is going to be some soft breach potential from EK Nolly as well as Despair with those breaching charges. Actually, Boomin is also bringing breaching charges on that IQ, and I think they're definitely going to try to get control of a master bedroom and a VIP lounge area and try to blast some holes in the floor and maybe try to take anybody off site that might put a damper as they go towards their execute.
Yeah, and this site, like you were saying, relies a lot on vertical plays. So the heavy, deep roam presence that we saw come out from Marquette in these first 2 rounds, it didn't quite pay off for them. Could end up being a little bit more useful for them on this site, hopefully, if we do see Whitewater push in a way that is expected for an attack on this site.
Yeah, and we are going to hopefully see it as Despair is already going up towards Hookah Balcony, checking to make sure there's no spawn peaks over towards the VIP runout area, as you will go ahead and just break open the VIP, or the Hookah door, pardon me, and we'll start trying to get a little bit of map control in here. UMP is also offsite just that little bit and throwing a cam inside of Blue Bar, trying to help protect his fellow brother in arms that are playing over in Sunrise Bar.
Yeah, we do see Droid holding quite an aggressive angle from Billiards onto Aqua. Could pay off for him here if he does decide to keep on that angle. Does look like he's going to back up a little bit over towards Billiards Bar and is unfortunately missing the entrance of these 2 attackers here. Does get the first pick onto Kai 4. I don't believe he knows there's a second one coming in through Aquarium. Hopefully he'll be able to prepare and be ready for that.
Yep, and the Zofia will be using that lifeline to try to ping out using the proximity concussions too. Oh wow, Baboon has already gone down to Boom and lying victim to that vertical play that we talked about earlier. Here as Despair is trying to hunt down Droid's location, but he has gone ahead and rotated all the way into VIP Lounge, trying to get some attack onto the attackers upstairs, and it will be successful as he takes down Boomin.
And now with his position known, Despair is going to be able to close down on this, and he's going to get sandwiched out. Maybe he'll be able to take one with him, but he does end up going down, unfortunately for himself, and it looks like that roam clear from Despair is going to pay off for him. EK Nolly actually able to finally finish off the downed Droid, and Brent, still being down here, gets taken out by Pickle, and UMP gets a second one for the team. And now it's a 3v1 situation all on EK Nolly with the fuser in hand. Unfortunately goes down outside to the SMG-11 of Pickle.
Yeah, but this is a really great aggressive peek out from Pickle. He knew his location was known as he went ahead and swung the door with that big ol' M59 shotgun. He just fell back just a little bit, enough to bait in that last attacker right into the loving arms of that super fast firing SMG-11. That definitely was a really great round coming out from Marquette. Their drone was a lot more effective as Droid was able to really put a lot of confusion and a lot of damage up to these attackers that were playing upstairs. I saw UMP got a pick as it was the roaming Valkyrie. And the rest of the team was able to follow suit in getting their picks once the momentum swung into their favor from the roam play.
Yeah, now we're going to see them go back up towards Hookah Billiards, where we most likely aren't going to see quite as deep of a roam presence from Droid and Ump here. We are going to see Ump most likely be down on that first floor, throwing out some cams initially, but I imagine we'll be seeing them making their way back up towards the first floor, maybe over towards master bedroom and VIP sides, just to stop any potential push from the second floor over onto the east side, which we haven't quite seen come out pretty much at all from Wisconsin Whitewater's attack so far.
Yeah, it does seem as if they're doing a completely similar, almost identical lineup that they've failed twice thus far while trying to defend Hookah. I would have liked to see some sort of adjustment, as it's really evident that Wisconsin just wants to push straight into Hookah. They're just bullying their way in and not really feeling any pushback, so they're most likely going to be just as confident on this attack as they go forward.
Yeah, there aren't too many operators that can slow down a push very effectively over on Marquette's side. We do have this smoke, but as we said before, you don't really want to waste those toxic babes so early on into the round, as they do get more useful as the round goes on.
Yep, once you hit that magic 30-second mark, it can spell the end of one of the entries into sight here. And we are seeing Brent go ahead and rappel on a window once again, maybe trying to catch a snoozing attacker that's not paying enough attention sitting out inside of Hookah. Here, Baboon and Pickle are both on site, as the rest of these attackers are making us eat our words and most likely will be going for an east side horizontal roam clear.
Yeah, it does seem like they were able to assess the positioning of the defense and adjust their attack accordingly. But droid playing over inside of theater here is about to get droned out by Boomin. Unfortunately for him, he will most likely have to relocate. Chooses not to, actually, and UMP decides to take up a nice little punch hole angle on the outside of theater here. Maybe hoping that they drop down into master bedroom, not expecting 2 players to be there and able to at least get a refrag in the worst case scenario.
Here we are seeing EK Nolly trying to get a pick once again onto the Blue Stairs base area player. However, they do seem as if they're going to play just that a little bit more passive because they don't want to give a free kill towards EK Nolly once again. But Booming will go ahead and take out Droid and take some shots over towards the Valkyrie of UMP. He will get him here as Boomin goes ahead and gets the double entry and pushes a lot of map control now for Wisconsin pushing forward.
Unfortunately, yeah, that worst case scenario that I was talking about did end up occurring for Marquette. Doesn't seem like UMP decided to hold the angle quite long enough, ended up rotating in towards theater. And unfortunately, you're going to see a team kill come out from Apache onto Pickle, lowering their chances a little bit. Apache makes up for it a little bit by taking out Boomin, bringing it back into a 2v4. Kai4 at about half HP here actually gets downed in the process of killing Apache. Now all up to Baboon, takes some shots at Brent, gets him to very low HP. The diffuser is getting planted right now, and Boomin actually ends up getting taken out by, or Baboon, sorry, gets taken out by Despair on that Zofia.
Yeah, the Maestro is one of those operators that you want to have in a clutch situation with that 81 bullets of the Alda, but it just wasn't quite enough as the positioning of these last attackers were in very strong places and they had him really pinched. The diffuser was going down and time was not on Baboon's side, and he had to sort of swing into an unadvantageous position and was punished accordingly by Wisconsin. They are really showing that they are very comfortable attacking on coastline and are putting forward quite a good effort as they've just continued to show dominance on this attack, pushing onto Hookah.
Yeah, now we're going to see the defense move over to blue and sunrise bars here. Again, I think a smart decision, because having failed that defense on Hookah for a 3rd time now really doesn't instill too much confidence in your ability to hold it successfully on a 4th go around. I'm interested to see if they are able to win bars here. Will they choose to go back upstairs to Hookah, or maybe make their way over to that master bedroom theater site that has fallen heavily out of favor in recent seasons?
I think actually Kitchen will be open next round once again, as they did go ahead and win it just before they went over to Hookah. And and so we actually are... Blue Bar is one of those sites that is off meta. It's most teams' tertiary sites. However, seeing that the Mira was in play, it has surprised me just that a little bit that we're not seeing her be used, because it is one of the sites that she is very powerful on. But we are seeing the Goyo being brought here, as Apache is placing down those Vulcan shields to try to burn away any chance that these attackers might have towards a plant or a quick push into sight.
Yeah, I think that's a really smart operator pick from Marquette, to bring an operator that is able to slow down pushes really effectively. It's difficult to play around those deployable shields when you know a Goyo is available, because you're not quite sure whether or not you're dealing with a normal deployable or a Goyo shield. And as we all know, Goyo shield, if shot from behind, they have an explosive pack that will blow up and pretty much deny any access to that area with some fire that gets spread out on the ground.
Yeah, I believe it holds out for an entire 10 to 12 seconds, which is definitely a lot of time. As the timer starts dwindling down to the end of the round, it can definitely spell doom for your push if you don't use your utility property to clear before you execute. Boomin is going to go ahead and already be fully into the theater area, trying to hold this angle, as he does seem to know the location of UMP being in towards the luggage area. It's most likely going to be pinched in, as EK Nolly is trying to go in towards Hookah and really flush out this Valkyrie.
Yeah, if EK Nolly is able to drone out Valkyrie effectively, it could force her to move right into the waiting arms of Boomin here. Fortunately, Boomin mistimes that rotate, and unfortunately for UMP, decides to poke his head up at just the wrong time, allowing Boomin to pop it off in quick fashion.
Yep, and that's the Valkyrie being gone. However, her cams will live on as her utility is very good in that fashion where the rest of her team can sit on those cams, as well as her being dead can sit on cams and try to feed intel to the rest of these defenders that are sitting here, as Pickle does get an opening kill for the defenders onto Brent, and that's the Twitch off the board as the SMG-11 claims one more victim again. However, Despair will get the diffuser back as Kaifor is looking to jump into kitchen area to get some sort of map control on the first floor.
We see EK Nolly destroying a lot of that floor up inside of Billiards, putting a lot of pressure down onto the anchors that are holding sites right now, forcing them to have to move around a little bit more cautiously than they would have before. We're going to see the push start to come out here, maybe taking some time, clearing out some areas that they hadn't yet, just make sure they don't get any late round flanks off on them once they get onto site.
Yeah, but EK Nolly is holding some rotations. However, Apache has snuck up right behind him and will use that TCSG to full effect and take out EK Nolly. Now, there is no vertical presence left for these attackers, but Despair is just pushing in and will take out the smoke. It's now a 1v3 instance for Apache, who's all the way upstairs. However, the diffuser only has 8 seconds to go down, but it won't even matter as Despair peeks out and takes Apache for the round.
And that was another very effective attack coming out from Marquette. They cleared out the roamers. They had a lot of good drone intel, which allowed them to do so. They were able to force them out of their positions into some rotates that unfortunately led them right in through the crosshairs of other waiting attackers from the side of Marquette.
Yeah, I thought Apache's attack or his flank all the way up White Stairs into that Billiards area was really well done. However, it didn't matter as soon as he got upstairs, the rest of his teammates downstairs fell at the hands of Despair and Boomin. So it sort of was a mute point and led to a retake situation that was a little bit difficult for him to go forward.
Yeah, especially once you get that kill on EK Nolly upstairs. The attack is very aware of where you're going to be pushing them from for your retake attempt. So it was quite a trivial hold for them to be able to just hold on to those cool vibe stairs, and Despair able to pretty quickly dispatch that final retake attempt there.
And now as we go into round 6, this will be the last round of the half on Coastline, with Wisconsin leading at 4-1. In this instance, they're going to try their hand at attacking the kitchen site once again. This is the one site that Marquette was able to win. They're going to look to have a repeat performance with a very similar lineup and setup as we saw 2 rounds ago.
Yeah, and this is, again, like I believe you said, this is the only site so far that Marquette has been able to successfully defend against Wisconsin. We are going to see, I would imagine, a pretty similar roam setup, although we do see opting instead of the Valkyrie to take the Bandit this time. They won't have access to those Valkyrie cams. Any of that information will no longer be available to them. We do see UMP able to get a nice little run out onto the IQ of Boomin, but does end up getting taken down pretty swiftly there by Brent on that Twitch.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say that's a run out. That's more of a leap of faith straight onto the IQ, and that is taking Boomin off the board. He's been a very proficient fragger and really good use of utility for these Wisconsin attackers. But now Despair will be going ahead and helping out drone out Droid. Actually, might be a missed drone. However, Droids will go ahead and just use his gun to shoot the drone and get a little bit more aggressive and switch his location over towards the bar. The rest of the attackers are lined up on this service entrance door and using some drone work to see if it is just clear to run in. However, Baboon is quite close, holding a tight angle on anybody who might be unfortunate enough to run in.
We're going to see Droid taking up a pretty aggressive angle on towards Aquarium Balcony. Despair, I'm not sure if they were quite aware that he was holding that position, but either way decides to fall off and rotate over towards Master Bedroom and rejoin the rest of his team. Brent actually able to get a second one for himself on the round, taking out the Maestro of Baboon over inside of Bathrooms.
Yep, and that's one more anchor falling once again, and now EK Nolly will just be using the hammer to fully blast out the entire floor. Skyforce getting a little bit more aggressive on the Ash and trying to find out where this Jaeger is. Will find him and take some shots out. However, most of them will fall, and Kaifor will take a whole lot of damage for that engagement.
Yeah, now Droid, with his location being revealed, is going to be forced to either hold fast and take this ensuing gunfight or make his way back to site. Apache able to take out one for himself on this round so far, evening it back up at a 3v3 situation. EK Nolly out on the hunt for Droid. Pickle takes up another one for his team, and Droid actually ends up engaging in this gunfight with EK Nolly. Apache takes out a third one for himself, and then Droid finishes off the round, successfully defending Kitchen for a second time for his team.
Yeah, maybe as they push forward and try Coastline once again, so maybe they should just go ahead and start with Kitchen, because that is a very strong site for them, as they were able to win it both times here, but now the sides will switch and the roles will be reversed, and Marquette will have to take the offensive.
Yeah, and now hopefully we'll be able to see the side with Marquette now on the attack pull out some very similar pushing that we did see from Wisconsin Whitewater in a very aggressive style, and see just how Wisconsin Whitewater decides to structure their defense. Actually opting to take this Goyo, so I would imagine we're going to see a lot of I don't know the word, but a lot of focus on trying to stop any very aggressive push that might come out from the side of Marquette.
Yeah, and the introduction of these Goyo shields to the strat is going to make Droid and UMP's job just that more important, as both of their gadgets are soft breach launchers, so they are going to have to be used to take those Vulcan shields off the board. This Boom is trying to get just the perfect angle on this bomb with the Vulcan shield. Maybe going to try to get a little bit aggressive with a peek on it. Actually, most likely will be used for a sort of default plant denial, as a lot of attackers do like to just run in straight from hookah and hide their body behind the body of the bomb.
Yeah, we are seeing those Goyo shields be placed in positions that seem to say to me that they're going to be used more to stop pushes by blowing them up and causing that fire to spread around key entryways onto site, as opposed to really providing defense for an attacker that would decide to play behind them.
Yeah, those
or a defender rather.
Yeah, they can definitely be double-edged swords, as if you're getting on them and you're trying to peek, they can just be shot and can actually, speaking of shot, UMP will get the initial pick onto the Goyo of Boomin here, as he's just going a little bit in a very strong position and taking out one of these players that was holding bullet holes towards Aqua. Now we're seeing Pickle and Droid go in and get another kill onto Kaifor, and just continuing the momentum that these attackers are pushing forward, getting a lot of map control, and really flushing out these players playing strong positions down below.
And that was interesting. Boomin seemed to be one of the few anchors, if not the only one, for Wisconsin positioned on site. So EK Nolly actually able to come back and take up a position on side of Billiards Bar here, and I'm going to see Brent positioning himself at the top of Cool Vibes, hopefully in a position that will allow him to stop any push that comes up from the first floor.
Yep, and now EK Nolly and Brent have both rotated back over to site, and they're going to be trying to hold down the fort for the rest of this round. However, Apache is just sitting in a very passive angle on this Nomad on the window, as the rest of his attackers are pushing up towards Aqua. Despair will get a pick onto Droid, as EK Nolly will get a pick onto Baboon here, evening the score at 3-3. But Jaeger will be taking some, or it's actually the Buck of Pickle sitting over in Blue Bar will take some shots from Brent sitting over on Cool Vibe Staircase.
Yeah, unfortunately for Brent, not able to take the head off of Pickle inside of Blue Bar. EK Nolly actually able to get one for himself. And then Brent finishes off the job onto Pickle over on those Cool Vibe stairs, and it's all left up to UMP, diffuser in hand. We could see the plant go down, able to take out EK Nolly. Unfortunately, doesn't see the last player inside of Luggage. We are seeing Zofia able to pick herself up. That's why the round was not over immediately once she went down. But Despair runs over, finishes the job with a little melee kill. And now we do see Wisconsin continuing their momentum into their defending side.
Yeah, and that was some really good resilience from the side of Wisconsin Whitewater, as they did go down initially, with the first two opening picks going to the side of Marquette. However, the rest of the team was able to just rally around and brought it all the way back to a 3-1 in the favor of them. And then after a quick little trade, round goes in their favor, and their steamroll of Coastline does continue with a 5-2 scoreline thus far.
Yeah, it did seem that Marquette was a little bit more comfortable on that attack, able to get some early picks. And we are actually going to see Brent take out the Mira for the first time so far, going to 6th pick onto it. So Marquette will not be aware that that is going to be coming into play on this kitchen site, which is one of those sites where Mira is very, very effective and could prove to be a major nuisance towards any attack that Marquette has planned.
Yeah, Brent will be putting down those mirrors here that allow a whole lot of intel for free, as they are going to be actually doubling up with a hard mirror, soft mirror combination. I think it'll be very important for Pickle to be upstairs and trying to get above this mirror, who's playing a very powerful position and fully cutting off any sort of push in towards the service entrance that we might see.
And we do see a Goyo shield actually being placed over by that service entrance, accompanied by 2 ADSs and a Maestro cam there. And that Goyo shield is positioned there so that if a push that Brent feels he wants to stop or slow down a little bit, he can just shoot that right out and hold that attack in place for a little bit longer.
But it does seem as if Pickle and Droid will be just going ahead and going straight into the blue bar quite aggressively. However, they will be pushed back by the Jaeger of Boomin, as well as the downed player of Kai4 has fallen victim to the Ash Rush straight through security.
Yeah, and Kai4 is going to try to crawl his way back into a position of safety as UMP ends up effectively taking down Boomin inside of blue bar there. Doesn't look like Kai4 is going to have an ally to be able to come pick him up anytime soon. And we are going to see Droid make his way over and try to finish off this kill. Unfortunately, there is some resistance being put up from EK Nolly inside of that main entrance. Is not able to quite finish off that kill. Pickle picks up one for himself on towards Despair. That's Smoke being taken down early before any of those toxic babes are able to be used. With a minute and 45 seconds left in the round, that's not an offer you want to lose this early.
Yeah, and it's effectively at a 5v2 right now, as now Kai4 will finally be finished off, making it a fully 5v2, but UMP will run in and take out Brent, as Droid goes ahead and picks up EK Nolly and puts a flawless round on the board for Marquette, which is definitely a really big momentum booster that they desperately need right now.
Yeah, definitely. And just like I was saying in that previous round, it does seem Marquette is significantly more comfortable here on their attacking side than they were on the defense. Usually not quite opting for quite as an aggressive a push as Wisconsin had when they were on their attacking side. More of a meticulous information gathering, push with your team approach that we didn't see in stark contrast really to the attacking strategy that we saw from Wisconsin.
Yeah, they're definitely using that buddy system to full effect, as the rest of their entries are just flying in and using the drone work of the rest of the support players. We're seeing just the Ash and the Sophia just take all that intel as fast as possible here. And
now we are going to see them opting to take this master bedroom theater site, which is not a site you see too often, but with Mira left on the board, it does become a viable site yet again, which is a reason why a lot of teams don't opt to take it, because Mira so often is banned out on this map.
Yeah, she's one of the most common bans across the board, as her gadgets are just so powerful. They create choke points that you just really can't effectively challenge unless you're fully committed and you know you're going to run up against it. Maybe you bring a Habana, you have to go below and use some sort of soft breaching with vertical play to try to get her off of these positions before you can push, and that can sap away a whole lot of time and utility if the strat is set up correctly.
Yeah, especially seeing those 2 mirrors be placed on the walls from theater looking into master bedroom, that's going to be quite the hindrance for any attack, which most of the time we will see teams attack from that master bedroom VIP Hall of Fame side. So now they're going to have to rework around that. Kai4 actually getting taken out pretty early on into the round by UMP over towards the main entrance there. And now just like that, starting off the round at a disadvantage, not where you want to be in the position of Wisconsin.
Yep, and speaking of not in the position, Ikinali will be just flushed out by the Capitao here. With that fire being dropped right on his feet, there was nowhere left for him to go, as UMP does get another pick onto Boomin. So now that is all the vertical presence gone, and it's left up to Brent and Despair sitting on site, actually quite close to site, as he will take the first player out, but the soft breach will be removing one of those shields, as Despair also does get a pick onto UMP and bring it back to a 3v2 instance. One player is dropped into bathroom and is in quite a powerful position, as the rest of his team is gonna try to push back into a similar area.
And I do believe Despair is aware now that there is a player inside of bathroom, will potentially be making his way up into the Hall of Fame hallway, and is able to take out Pickle and now bring it back into a 2v2 situation, albeit both players on Wisconsin are very low HP.
Over Baboon is also weak and actually will be going all the way down to 0, as both of these players have really brought this round back from the absolute clutches of defeat, gone from a 2v4 all the way to a 2v1 in their favor. It's all left up to Apache, as the Nomad does have 1 minute left on the clock, but no diffuser in hand, as the Capitao did go ahead and die with it in sight. So now Brent will be peeking at, as both defenders now know the exact location of Apache. He's just going to opt to run away. I do have to say that he does have all 3 air jabs left in his back pocket, as well as 3 flashes that he could make good use of to try to win these gunfights.
Yeah, and 30 seconds left in the round. It's definitely a doable situation for Apache. It will be difficult as that diffuser is down inside of master bedroom site here. Gonna look to make a peek out from Hall of Fame hallway. It does get spotted out. Now both defenders very aware of his position here.
Yep, and he's gonna get aggressive and go ahead and down Despair and leave it to a 1v1. However, the Mira is not gonna have any of it, as Brent clutches out of the round and finishes one more for University of Wisconsin.
Yeah, and as we saw, that looked pretty unwinnable for the side of Wisconsin, but through those effective gunfights and some really calculated plays that came out from those last 2 players, they were able to grasp victory from the jaws of defeat in that round. And unfortunately for Marquette, they do end up losing another round and getting forced into match point.
Yeah, so we do have to say that University of Wisconsin has crossed that 6-point threshold. So now they only need one more round to ice out this map and go ahead and send it to map 2, but we were talking about how strong the Mira can be on the master bedroom site, and that's exactly what we saw here, as the entire attack sort of crumbled as soon as they came into contact with those mirrors. There's nothing they could really do, as she used that vector to full force, peeking off with her intel and taking the rest of those attackers down in conjunction with Despair's late flank on the Goyo. But now there will not be a Mira this round. Instead, Brent will be on the dock, trying to take some long gunfights with that MP5 with its amazing ACOG sight.
Yeah, we do see, I believe, an identical lineup coming out from Wisconsin as the last time they defended this site. They were successfully able to defend the first time they attempted this, so hopefully Marquette has reworked their attacking strategy or will better execute the same attacking strategy that they decided to implement the first time.
I think actually the Mozzie is a different operator, and that is a really good adjustment that I would like to say, as this Marquette attack does rely heavily on drone intel to get their entry engagements here. Using that Mozzie is going to make it just that little bit more difficult to push forward with intel.
Yeah, it does allow Wisconsin that utility coming out from an extra C4 being placed on the map, and we are going to see Kai4 playing downstairs, which is where you're going to typically see players with a C4 in hand be playing. Does enter into a gunfight with UMP, both taking a little bit of damage. C4 goes out, unable to do any damage there. Droid actually gets one onto Despair, giving his team the early round advantage.
Yep, and some more shots will go towards this Mozzie as the Sophia really is smelling the blood in the water as UMP will go ahead and take him out fully. Now, Boomin is going to opt to go straight back to site as EK Nolly's trying to hold down the fort inside of Hookah, or inside of Aqua, pardon me. Boomin's peeking this hatch aggressively, trying to see if any attackers might expose themselves as they push in towards this Sunrise Bar area. Brent's rotating over to base and trying to make sure that that hookah door stays safe, as Brent will opt to just go ahead and on cams and try to feed any intel for the rest of his team.
Yeah, we are going to see, like you were saying, all three of the defensive operators making their way back onto site, preparing for this final push from Marquette, hopefully able to stop any more drone intel. EK Nolly actually smartly opting not to shoot that drone, makes his way, runs out onto Aqua balcony and picks off UMP so early onto the round, or so late into the round. Baboon actually able to refrag right back onto EK Nolly, putting them back into a 2v4 situation. And as I say that, Apache takes out Boomin, and now it's all on the shoulders of Brent here.
I mean, he's going to have to climb the mountain here, but two players lineup actually will not be able to get the second, as Droid will just pop his head off real quick and take another round onto Marquette. They're on their back foot here, with the other team being all the way up at 6 points. However, they will not roll over easily and are going to try to bring this all the way to overtime.
Yeah, and that was a very similar start to the round as we had seen the first time Wisconsin decided to defend Hookah, having lost those two players early. But this time, the results change, and Marquette is actually able to capitalize on those two early picks and keep the pressure on for the remainder of the round and finally force that defense to crumble down into pieces.
Yeah, last win for Wisconsin was definitely fully on the back of their anchors, as the rest of the remaining two defenders were just able to fully clutch out the round. However, this time, the roam clear from Marquette was so strong once again. They flushed out the roamers, and they were a little bit more structured in their attack as they took out the remaining anchors. So it's most likely that we're going to see another full roam clear on the side of Marquette. However, we are going to see Brent bringing that Mira once again, and we might see these attackers fall into the trap of these black mirrors.
And we do see Kaifor and Boomin actually swapping operators there. Kaifor opting for the Goyo and Boomin now switching over to the Mozzie. Potentially, maybe these two players decided, hey, I can handle this Mozzie play a little bit better. I can take those downstairs fights a little bit more effectively than you can, and I'll let you hold on to site this time. We are going to see a very similar setup, albeit they do now have those black mirrors like we were saying. The aquarium hatch does get opened in preparation phase, preparing for potentially an anchor to hold down into aquarium and have a quick rotation out if he does find himself in some hot water over there.
Yeah, and there's going to be a whole lot of drone work coming out from Marquette once again, as they're going to go for the full room clear we've talked about. UMP's going to go ahead and maybe smack this window as in his way up, and we'll just go ahead and pop the Mira here on a nice pre-fire. But speaking of pre-fires, EK Nolly will go ahead and take out Droid. That's the entry frag of the Ash off the board, leaving just UMP to do most of this room clearing on his own. Speaking of that, Pickle will go down from a really nice floor angle from Boomin on the Mozzie. He is in a savable position, as actually Apache will take out Despair here and will go ahead and bring this back to a 4v4.
Yeah, able to successfully bring his teammate back up. Unfortunately, 2 kills coming out from Kaifor and Boomin. Baboon responds pretty quickly here, bringing it back into a 2v3. Pickle on very low HP is going to prep this grenade, throw it up into Aqua. Unfortunately, not able to do any damage to EK Nolly, who was sitting inside of that position.
Yep, and Boomin is still holding that angle quite strong, trying to get any damage onto these attackers that are just flying around down below inside of office. So in a 2v3 instance, it is not over for either side, but EK Nolly's getting a little bit of bullets thrown his way as he's sitting behind Aqua Bar in a very aggressive position here. Baboon and Pickle will most likely have to be pushing in here as the time dwindles down. Some drone work is going to alert the position of the bandit, as the fire will flush him out straight into the sight of Baboon.
He is able to get a little bit of damage onto Baboon before he gets taken down, but we do see a little bit of a run out coming out from Boomin. Unfortunately, it was spotted out, and Baboon able to shut that down pretty quickly. Now all left down to Brent playing on these black mirrors inside of Hookah.
Here the smoke will go down as the plant is most likely going to be attempted here. Brent does have a nitro cell, and it will take down the diffuser, and we'll get the blind shot through the smoke to take map 1 for University of Wisconsin Whitewater.
Yeah, that was a very impressive C4, and then subsequently followed by that blind shot through the smoke. I would imagine a pretty predictable rotate from that last attacker. Brent was able to see that and take some free fire to that smoke, and luckily for him, was able to land some of those bullets and finish off the round for his team.
So now we will go ahead and be taking a 5-minute break in between maps, so go ahead and stick around, as next time you see us in about 5 minutes, we will be going over towards Clubhouse.
From far away they came to us with knowledge.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are here coming back from that explosive map 1 of Coastline, getting over into this second map here on Clubhouse. Going to start off this ban phase with Wisconsin Whitewater on defense and Marquette starting out on attack here. What are you looking for bans here on this Clubhouse?
I was gonna say Maverick is a very strong operator, but now I can't claim I've got 5-head, but it's here. But it's mostly gonna be a Thatcher right here, maybe. There we go. That's my prediction for the day. Most likely, seeing on the defensive side, we're gonna see most likely a Cade because that does accompany a Thatcher ban quite commonly. Oh, Pulse actually. I guess they didn't like the Wisconsin roam on the Pulse, and possibly all of the intel that he can't provide for the defending side.
Yeah, that's an interesting ban you don't see too often, but yeah, like you were saying, did hold a lot of power in that first map. Just trying to get it off the board so you don't have to deal with it. And we already see the Echo be the final ban here, leaving both Cade and Bandit on the board to have that hard breach denial for it's going to benefit Wisconsin Whitewater first in this map here.
Yeah, I think if the defenders are to have a Cade player, it is going to be insanely hard for any attack to go forward. This is definitely one of those maps that Cade does thrive on, and when you have a Maverick and a Thatcher ban, it's almost impossible to get that utility off the board, and especially as you go downstairs, those hatches are just not going to be able to be opened.
Yeah, definitely. We are going to have to see... Actually, I was about to say we're going to have to see the Maverick do some work, but that ended up being our first attacking ban here. So yeah, I don't imagine they're going to have a very easy time getting open any hard walls here at all. But we are going to see them take both Thermite and Habana here, both the remaining hard breach available, and going to have to be attacking onto that CCTV cache site first, which is nowadays the first site for a lot of teams.
Yes, and we are going to see Boomin go ahead and make some holes into the wall of this. Is he actually spelling out something?
I think he's spelling out high.
Yes, I see an H and now an I. So he's going to seem to be quite friendly. However, that TCSG he does hold might tell a little bit of a different story, as that's a very powerful and unforgiving gun. If you go ahead and take a slug to the upper body and head area, can just go ahead and take you all the way down.
Yeah, we are going to see an ADS being positioned up on Catwalk inside of Garage, where I imagine we'll be seeing EK Nolly on that dock take up residence for at least the beginning half of this round. We're going to hold onto that garage door, maybe try to stop any pushes coming in from that side.
Yeah, Rafters is a very powerful position that you can sit in a lot of different safe areas and fully deny some sort of garage take, as well as in conjunction with that mute jammer at the top of the stairs. Is going to be hard to drone out of this dock, but Apache will get the initial pick onto Kiefer, as the Valkyrie was playing quite aggressive downstairs in the lounge area of Stockroom.
Yeah, that's a pretty unfortunate, such an early pick coming out, but like we were saying earlier, Valkyrie is one of those operators that is able to get her utility down very early onto the round and does remain useful as long as those cams are able to remain unshot. But you see Despair taking up a little bit of a fight inside of New Blue Stairs, moving down, and then Boomin actually able to take out Baboon, the deliverer of the first kill of the round, with that TCSG that we were mentioning earlier.
Yep, and now Droid will be using this IQ scanner to full effect, trying to shoot out these mute jammers and allow some drone work to go forward. However, it is quite difficult to find the Cade Club, but he finally will, and the breaching will begin as the thermite charge goes down on CCTV wall.
And that wall will be opened up. Boomin actually able to take out one that was standing in quite the unfortunate position. Does attempt to go for the run out, doesn't see anybody, and makes his way back inside with the fraction of his life that he has remaining.
Yep, and it is a 4v3 instance here. However, two of these defenders are quite lit. However, the dock is still on the board, but the Cade will not be anymore, as Apache goes ahead and uses a nice headshot rappel angle to cut down sight.
Yeah, Brent now holding over on those brick stairs, waiting for anybody to come for a push over on that side of the site. We do see IQ actually making her way over there, as Brent unfortunately ends up falling off the angle, preparing for Apache to push in, misses the timing there, will make his way up and get him from the back. Pickle able to take out another one for himself, and Droid responds right back, making this a 2v1 situation in favor of Marquette.
Yep, and Despair will be in a retake situation as Droid actually will catch him slacking as he's climbing up the ladder. Marquette will take the first round of Clubhouse in a lineup that we said was definitely going to be very defender-sided. It went ahead and proved us wrong.
Yeah, that was a very effective take from Marquette, able to clear out those hard breach denial gadgets quite early on into the round and open up that CCTV wall, which allowed them to put on a little bit more pressure throughout the round than it seemed Wisconsin was able to deal with.
Yeah, in this instance now, I like when I'm thinking of a Clubhouse defense setup, when you have a Thatcher and a Maverick ban, I want all of the anti-breach. I want a Mute, I want a Bandit, and I want a Cade. Here in this instance, I probably would have sacked off the Doc for a little bit more utility, give him that TCSG up in Raptors if he's comfortable on it. But as soon as you have somebody like the IQ going below and start shooting gadgets, the beauty of Cade is how he can just go ahead and throw his claw. As maybe the IQ, once shoots the batteries, just stops looking at the wall, and you might be able to get a sneaky little Electro Claw onto the wall just quick enough to destroy a Thermite or Habana charge.
Yeah, and it seemed like they weren't quite comfortable with that TCSG, opting to actually not take the Cade here in favor of, I believe, swapping it up for the Bandit, which is a very similar operator. Fulfills almost the exact same role, and maybe even allows for some easier tricking of those hard breach gadgets.
Yeah, and in CCTV, you just want to try to deny that breach as much as possible, because this is the easiest way to get site control based on how this site is fully set up. EK Nolly will be just sitting up in Raptors once again, as Pickle is going to be using these Habana pellets to open up another pathway into Garage, most likely, but the drone work is going down below, trying to find if there's any sort of roamers down in the lounge area. However, this time there are not.
IQ making her way back into stock, able to take out that mute jammer right off the bat, making her way over downstairs, trying to figure out where any of those hard breach denials are located. Gonna hopefully be able to take out those bandit batteries pretty soon. We do see that garage wall getting opened up by the Habana, for allowing for another entry point and another angle that these two players on Raptors will have to watch.
Yep, but Baboon will take out EK Enoch Kelly, as Boomin does also fall at the hands of Pickle, and that's both of the Raptor players gone in one fell swoop. It does seem the dog is just chilling there, looking quite comfortable. However, he is off the board fully, as Brent does finally get a refrag onto Droid and puts the favor a little bit back towards the defenders. However, the Jaeger is on camera, as he will get the wall bang using those tracers to his full effect, as Kaifor does get a refrag back onto Pickle. But however, Baboon will go ahead and down the Valkyrie right here, and essentially in a 2v1 instance now, Despair has a lot of work to do for this clutch as he's put in the position once again.
Yeah, Despair, I don't believe will be able to pick up his ally. Actually, he will be able to successfully do that as the plant goes down, and now they are in a position where they have to retake in a very difficult position. Baboon actually gets taken down on top of Raptors there, and now it's all up to Apache to defend this. Kaifor takes him out, and Apache gets Kaifor right back, and now it's on to Despair. Unfortunately, not able to take out that remaining operator. Apache able to win the round for his team.
Yeah, and it's very well played by Apache, being able to get all the way out onto the breach. But I do have to say that was a really nice nitro toss from the Valkyrie to thread it over the server rack and straight into that rotate hole to take out the Raptors player. Definitely was the play of that round if it had worked out in the favor of Wisconsin. However, it did not, and Apache was just in too strong of a position for the rest of those defenders to overcome.
Yeah, now having lost that cache CCTV site twice in a row, they are going to opt to move down onto that basement site, which is another one of the two primary sites we see for a lot of teams on this map.
Yeah, basement is, I think, going to be the more powerful site if they opt to bring the Cade. However, Boomin is going to go ahead and switch onto the Goyo here. They just don't want to listen to my advice. The Cade's so powerful when you have a Thatcher Maverick ban. But In this instance, maybe they don't have a player that's fully comfortable on it. So this is one of those operators that does have quite a high skill ceiling, with the guns not being quite the best. TCSG has a really high skill ceiling and is definitely can be a beast if used correctly, but definitely isn't super beginner friendly.
Yeah, and if you don't opt to take the TCSG, you're left with the remaining option of the Vector, which is another gun that not a lot of players are super comfortable with, as it having such a high fire rate and a little bit of unmanageable recoil. It can be difficult to pop off those heads.
Yep, so we are actually seeing the introduction of Kaifor onto the Mozzie once again, who they might be trying to use a little bit of a mute Mozzie combination. As we did talk about last game, Marquette's attacks rely very heavily on a lot of drone intel. So using both of these operators in a wombo combo sort of fashion can really make it so difficult to drone here, as Despair will get the opening pick onto UMP and take the Jackal off the board. That's going to free up a lot of breathing room for these roamers as they're pushing forward, not having to worry about any pings of their locations from their footsteps.
Yeah, getting that operator off the board, very, very important for the roam game, like you were saying. Now we're going to see the attackers have to move a little bit more cautiously, make use of those drones a little bit more than they would have liked to, and hopefully gather some of that information and clear out these roamers before they're able to make any push down onto this basement site. Going to see a little bit of focus going over on towards kitchen, as we typically see Hibana going to be able to open up this kitchen hatch pretty quickly. And that will be just another angle that the defenders have to watch when they're deciding to rotate throughout site.
Yep, and with the initial hatch going open, there is just sort of a backup option here, but Brunt will use his Nitro Cell to full effect and take out that hard breacher of Hibana. So now all it's left up to Apache to try to use his exothermic charges to make any more paths into sight, as the bar hatch will most likely be next on the checklist.
Yeah, getting that bar hatch open. Kaifor actually able to take out Apache through that kitchen hatch that was opened up earlier. And now a 5v2 situation for Droid and Baboon to have to deal with here. They're going to have to approach this much more meticulously. We are going to see Despair positioned up on these main stairs. Baboon seems to be aware, going to try to flush him out with those asphyxiation bolts. Does so successfully and forces Despair to take a little bit of damage and move back towards a safer position for himself.
Yeah, I think Despair was definitely a little bit scared, a little bit dreading of that fire, as it took out almost all of his health. But the Zofia is now going to take a good amount of damage as she peeks in towards main stairs, trying to go in towards Moto. However, her position is fully known here. Aggressively getting shot from a peek on this Goyo shield. It is a shotgun. That's not somebody you want to meet up close here, as the Nitro Cell will unfortunately miss as it's lobbed over the wall. But Boomin will go ahead and peek out and take him and leave it all up to Baboon, who will get the first kill and maybe the second, but actually will not get the second here, as Brent will close out the round in a dominating fashion, as Wisconsin finally does a bounce back on Clubhouse.
Yeah, that was a very, very effective defensive hold there. I just want to take a second to go back and correct myself a little bit. We were talking about Cade earlier. I did say that the other option was the Vector. In my mind, I had confused the two operators with TCSG available, the other one being Goyo, who does have the Vector, and Kaid actually having the AUG for that second option, which again, a gun that takes up a lot of your screen and not really an effective option for a lot of these players.
Yeah, it's definitely two very. I mean, the AUG has gotten a lot better, but at the end of the day, it is just an average at best SMG without an ACOG on it, which a lot of players would like to have an ACOG on a 3 armor defender. However, we are going to see the inclusion of a Frost onto this gym bedroom hold, which is definitely an interesting pick.
Yeah, not an operator you see too often, but a site like gym does lend itself to the use of these frost mats with a lot of windows coming into play, a lot of those window vaults, forcing the attacking operators to have to watch their feet on those entries a little bit more, and that could take away from their ability to watch for any defenders that are holding angles onto those windows.
Yeah, the welcome mats are definitely not very welcoming if you are going to go ahead and jump in right into that bear trap. It will just render you completely you will be completely helpless as it closes in on your foot and locks you in place in a down but not out fashion. However, we are going to see the bandit being played, most likely going to be tricking the wall here, as he does have a shield as well as 2 castle barricades and a couple ADSs to protect his precious utility on that jacuzzi wall.
Yeah, that jacuzzi wall is an incredibly important wall to make sure is remained closed for as long as possible in the round, because once those attacking operators have that wall open, it closes off a lot of the rotate options that are being held there for the defenders, and really lets them put a lot more pressure on and force the defenders to have to play around that.
Yeah, you definitely want to try to force these attackers to go in through the window. However, Apache will just get the breach open quite quickly and will use his gun to take out EK Nolly. It does seem as if he just went ahead and maybe his sound cues were off. He electrified the wrong wall, unfortunately.
And that is going to be difficult now. Like I was saying, the jacuzzi wall, I do believe we did see Zofia able to actually prevent EK Nolly from being able to successfully get that trick off, which ended up costing them a huge piece of protection when it comes to defending this round. We do see Despair and Booming holding up some not quite deep roams, and we actually are going to see Kaifor holding up quite a deep roam, being downstairs inside of bar here, hoping to catch off anybody. Despair is able to pick up a kill onto Droid and gets a second one onto Pickle, now picking up 2 for himself in the round and making it a 3v4 situation for his defense.
Yeah, got really aggressive playing this hatch here in the logistics office, as another drone does fall onto him. As also the Frost is playing quite an aggressive angle onto this breach, going to try to catch somebody pushing in without really thinking. Some wall bangs are going to go out towards the bathroom area. However, they will not land here, as Baboon is going to drop out towards the window and possibly help to set up some sort of execute into Gym.
And Kaifor is still positioned down inside of that first floor bar, not in quite a useful position for himself right now, as there's not an attack coming from that location. But it does allow him to have quite easy access to a rotate. Actually, Brent able to take out UMP on that tight angle we mentioned earlier through bedroom and bathroom outside onto jacuzzi wall. And now Apache going to have to work around this, knowing the Frost is there, and play it a little bit more carefully on his entrance.
Yeah, but then Boomin is still in a very powerful position here inside of... Wow, that's a beautiful shot from Kaifor as he's able to go ahead and flick straight onto the player. However, Apache's just going to storm straight into sight and take out everybody in his wake as he goes for the quad kill and is getting the diffuser down. However, Boomin is just going to run up right behind him and end that hopes of the ace clutch.
Yeah, unfortunate for Apache there. Pulled out some magic, had to go for that diffuse plant, and not able to hear Boomin coming up from behind him, and gets taken out in a way that is not very dignified with the knife to the back. But being able to successfully defend that site by the skin of their teeth, they are going to end up making their way back to cache and CCTV, a site that they were unable to defend 2 rounds in a row. Hopefully they're able to change up something and make it work for them this time.
Yeah, I will say if they are able to finally win CCTV, it will put them back into the lead on Clubhouse. And you definitely, as this map does favor a little bit more towards the defender side, you want to take at least a 4-2 lead as you go into your attacking rounds. Marquette here, if they get a 3-3 draw, they're going to feel very confident going towards on defense and gonna most likely try to take this map fully for their own.
Yeah, now Boomin opting for that Cade again, the operator that we saw him take in the first defense hold, which didn't really quite work out for him too well. And then he decided to go for the bandit. But as we saw, that didn't quite work out for them well either, and opting to go back onto that Cade, hopefully making this TCSG work out a little bit better for him. Potentially going to be deciding to hold this rafters position, maybe even doubling up with EK Nolly over there.
Yep, and we are seeing Kaifor make some footholds over towards that garage wall, and that allows some rotation cutting all the way from lounge, as well as using it as a double angle if anybody is playing in bottom garage, trying to stop this IQ from just pushing into lounge and destroying all these gadgets from beneath. And we are actually going to see Kiefer go ahead and barricade that off and give all of that map control for free, potentially.
Yeah, and he actually is taking an operator we haven't seen yet, Alibi, with that MX4 in hand, a gun that does provide a lot of killing power, not a lot of recoil, very easy to control. So if you can get your aim correct, it does typically lead to some pretty easy kills for you.
Yeah, MX4 goes brrr real fast as that fire rate is just absolutely insane. It's a very strong weapon indeed, as the Alibi, being a very fast operator, does just fly straight across the screen of this player. And now Droid will be taken off the board of the first victim of Alibi's gun here, as another shot will go out. He's trying to get aggressive onto UMP, however she will just decide to flee with her life down into basement. I think getting the IQ off the board was the biggest thing for Wisconsin to be able to do. Now those K charges are really protected, as they're going to be in very difficult positions to find from below without that scanner.
Yeah, definitely. That IQ played a huge role in their first two successful attacks on this site. Now with it off the board, that could provide to be the nail in the coffin that lets Wisconsin finally successfully defend this round. We do see Apache having opened up that construction wall to the outside. Going to hold that angle, hopefully cut off any rotates that might come through logistics. Actually, I do believe, yeah, UMP is positioned inside of there. They're going to try to take this three-man push inside of construction and make their way into cash here.
Yeah, this definitely was an audible call, as they knew that they can't get the main wall with the Cade being here. So now Brent and Despair have read into this and are playing a little bit more aggressively towards this door. However, UMP will have a really nice angle and take off the head of Brent, as Apache's taking this breach down to go in towards Cash. However, right here, Kiefer's making a beautiful flank and might go ahead and sneak up on some unsuspecting attackers as he sees the lines of the Claymore and will just opt to shoot it here and find another Claymore. Unfortunately, the Marquette defenders definitely watched their back in twofold here, as the UMP is going to take some more shots over on the Jaeger, but the rest of this round is starting to slow down, but the time won't stop. Here, Boom and EK Nolly and Despair are all on full HP, as UMP and Apache both have taken quite a bit of damage.
Despair able to take out UMP and then secure the round for his team, taking off the head of Apache and jumping out, maybe doing a little bit of showboating there, finishing off the round in style. That was a really good late round hold from Wisconsin. They buckled down and realized what they needed to do, even after that unfortunate double Claymore struck onto Kiefer, cutting off what could have been a very powerful late game rotation.
Yeah, and here we are seeing that this will be the first lead that Wisconsin has taken for this map, as they did initially go down 0-2 as they took CCTV 2 times in a row on defense. However, they were not able to hold on to it here. But on the back of Kiefer's initial pick onto the IQ, they were finally able to switch up the results that we saw 2 times before.
Yeah, and now Wisconsin's still not opting to take that Cade down to basement. Proved to us that they didn't actually need it the first time they held this site, but still would be a valuable operator to have in tow, not allowing those hatches to be opened easily, if at all. But we're going to see a very similar operator selection from both sides, I believe. Actually, Baboon opting to take the Montaigne, potentially looking for either a blue or a dirt push, both those pushes being very powerful if you have a Montaigne on your side.
Yeah, Monty is one of those operators that can just act as a invincible meat shield or as a gigantic metal drone, if you want to think about it that way. You go full extended and you push forward, and you start spewing off comms to the rest of your teammates as they push in behind you.
A lot of people would debate whether or not shield operators belong in this game. A lot of players thinking that they don't, but I would like to point out Monty on the surface level doesn't seem to be a very complicated operator play, but once you get up to these higher levels, the amount of coordination that's required for a Monty to be played effectively really is quite immense, and it does require that operator to be in the hands of someone that's very experienced with not only the operator but also playing with their team.
Yeah, that's definitely the difference between that solo queue gold Monty you see that doesn't say a single word, doesn't have a mic, as opposed to when you're watching Pro League and you see Pengu whip out the French shielder himself here. As now a Nitro will blow up quite close to Droid, however he will not take any damage as Brent was most likely trying to take him out.
And we do see Pickle moving over into Billiards on this first floor, making his way towards Bar, taking out that Moto hatch quite early on into the round. And I imagine he's going to make his way towards Kitchen pretty quickly to take out that Kitchen hatch as well. Yep, does get that hatch. And like we were saying, with the lack of a Cade, those hatches are going to be able to be opened very, very quickly and do provide two new methods of pushing onto the site. Actually, UMP able to get that first pick. Not quite sure where that came from, but will provide a substantial advantage for the attack going into this round.
Yeah, that's a really terrifying combination as Baboon's just going to be running in with the Ash fragging behind. Now he's going to cut off these rotation holes as Apache does get another pick on a flanking Brent. Now EK Nolly will actually earn his Nitro as the Monty will get shot in behind by Despair. So now it's all left up to, actually there's 4 Marquette attackers left as opposed to 3 Wisconsin defenders as the hatches are open, and the rest of this round is going to be executed quite shortly.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Despair, now he finds himself trapped inside of this oil pit. Apache on one side and UMP on the other. Actually, UMP unfortunately gets taken down by Boomin before he's able to do anything, but Apache is still able to pick up that kill onto Despair inside of oil pit. Boomin getting taken down very low. Pickle able to pick up that kill onto EK Nolly behind Church Bar, and it's all down to Boomin playing inside of dirt here with this ACOG on his TCSG.
And it's a 1v3 situation. He only has 25 health to his name, as opposed to the Marquette side, who, between their 3 attackers left, have only lost 25 HP here. However, the Habana will lose the rest of her HP as that TCSG goes ahead and bangs down and makes this a 1v2 instance. However, Droid isn't having it, as the 552 Commando of IQ will go ahead and close out this half in a 3-3 fashion.
Yeah, I think that unfortunately was due to those hatches being able to be opened so easily. It allowed pushes down into Moto through that Moto hatch and then into Church very quickly in a way that it didn't seem like Wisconsin were expecting. But now we're going to see this side switch, and it looks like Brent is actually going to opt to take the Blackbeard. I believe this is definitely the first time we're seeing it on this map, but I believe it's the first time we're seeing it this series.
Yeah, it was banned on Coastline. So definitely wouldn't be able to be brought a last time here. As it actually does look like this is most likely a top floor attack with that Blackbeard and Capital combination. However, this lineup will still work for Kitchen as long as you have a good amount of hard breach here. And seeing this Vigil Mozzie and Mute combination in conjunction with this castle in downstairs is definitely making me think of SSG here. So most likely we're going to see a whole lot of players playing upstairs and just denying all sorts of intel as Vigil can't be seen by drones, Mozzie pests steal drones, and Apache's Mute Jammers will go ahead and stop those drones in their tracks.
Yeah, so it's going to be able to deny a lot of that intel, which it seems both these teams have been relying on quite heavily for their roam clears, and it's going to force Wisconsin to have to be much more cautious through their clear of these top 2 floors, clearing out any deep roamers from the side of Pickle. Actually, Pickle choosing to blow up that Moto hatch for himself, potentially trying to create another rotation possibility for himself if he does find himself in an unfavorable situation.
Yeah, this is actually the full SSG hold. If you watch any Pro League, the castle setup protects all of Bar, and the rest of these roamers just sort of fly around upstairs with all the hatches open, and it creates just a real maze of with that Vigil, Mute, and Mozzie, where you can't drone, you can't find out where these roamers are, and they just have complete full reign and can punish you from all sorts of different angles as they're just sort of just running around the map and making it their own home.
Yeah, so Wisconsin is going to have to rely heavily on their players' ability to win any gunfights that they might run into, which I believe will be a lot outside of this site. We do see Despair making his way, having blown up that jacuzzi wall, trying to make his way upstairs, clear out any of the roamers that are sitting up there. And they did end up blowing open that dirt wall as well. So we're going to see most likely a two-pronged attack strategy come out from Wisconsin here.
However, we are going to see Droid most likely going to be running into this Vigil quite soon, and run into him he does as Droid gets the opening pick of this half onto Brent. And speaking of that, that's the roamers causing a lot of damage already, as 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the clock, and there's no map control essentially for these attackers. However, Kai4 is playing quite close and near to bar. However, there are some defenders laying in there waiting for anybody to go forward, as Apache's holding a close angle on dirt. However, Pickle now will fall to Boomin, as well as the Mozzie is going to take a little bit of damage. Actually doesn't take any at all, and it's Boomin taking the damage, but Despair will get a kill onto UMP here, and it's a 4v3 instance in the favor of Wisconsin going forward.
And Apache is taking up a tight angle on this dirt tunnel. I do believe he's aware that a push is going to come from there. It'll be very, very difficult for that attacker to make his way through the dirt tunnel with a shotgun positioned right in his face. We do see a gunfight going down with Baboon end up being the victor there, taking out Kai4 over inside of Moto. And now evening it back up into a 3v3 with both Boomin and Baboon at pretty low HP here.
So now Boomin will just go ahead and sneak straight into sight. However, he does not know the Legion is still sitting here, as Baboon will get the refrag and avenge his fallen teammate. So now the Thermite is going to have to push straight into the shotgun of Apache. It's a 1v1 instance here, but Despair does have the diffuser, and with 10 seconds left, he's going to have to start placing that on the ground. So the default positions will be sprayed out. However, the diffuser will finally get fully planted. Despair isn't on a whole lot of HP here. Actually will be getting flanked just a little bit. Apache is getting a little bit sneaky here. It does seem as if Despair lacks the critical information. No, he does go ahead and peek out, but it's not enough here, as he will get knifed, and Apache does a full clutch for the side of Marquette.
Yeah, that was a really good play from Apache, able to save that round for his team. It did look like a very effective defensive hold, and it was working out for them towards the beginning, but it did seem to fall apart due to Boomin actually being able to take out a lot of those players with that very effective Capital play that he pulled out.
Yeah, the main weakness with that hold is your blue presence. And if you have 3 people off site, you are going to only have 2 people close. So if you are able to read into that, like how University of Wisconsin did, they took blue quite quickly and just sort of funneled in the rest of their picks based off of that. And it almost worked out for them, despite it only fell onto the heroics of Apache on that mute.
And now, having won that basement defense, we're going to see them move up to a cache CCTV hold, opting to take the Goyo and the Cade here. That Goyo going to help again stop any aggressive pushes, make the attackers have to potentially, in such close quarters that we see on Clubhouse, have to rethink their attack strategy as a whole, and maybe have to make some plays they don't intend to in their typical attack strategy.
Yeah, here we are going to see a very nice lineup for Marquette, as it's like they listened to us and they're bringing the Cade this time. And they're also bringing the Goyo here that can really use those Vulcan shields to full effect and act essentially like a smoke on this site, where you can just blow up those shields, burn the fire all over the place. However, we also are seeing a Maestro being brought with a Mozzie and Jaeger for the roam.
We actually see Goyo preparing 2 of those shields onto rafters to protect Baboon's Maestro here, giving him just a little bit of extra comfort and ability to sit back here on his cams and not have to worry quite as much as he would have otherwise.
Here we are seeing some initial shots coming in as the breach up on top of the garage walls is going to be going here, trying to have Boomin make an angle to shoot his asphyxiation bolts onto the wall and maybe try to stop any bandit tricking. However, the droning hasn't come out to see that Marquette is not bandit tricking. They don't even have a bandit on this lineup.
Yeah, hopefully. Actually, Brent able to take out that first kill coming in from this CCTV balcony here. We do see Droid positioned down low inside of garage. Kaifor able to pick up the little remaining health that was left on UMP. And now a 5v3 situation. Droid actually gets taken out by Boomin on that Capitao. Yet again, showing us his proficiency on that weapon that a lot of players find difficult to control with that high recoil.
Yeah, the pair is definitely an acquired taste in that instance, as a lot of players do just like to bring that ACOG LMG. However, it is a 2v5 instance, and Wisconsin is definitely on the strong foot here as the Sophia's downstairs in lounge and has made sure that the wall is cleared and allowing this thermite to use his exothermic charge to break open a path into sight. However, there will be some initial picks here, but the trades will fall as Brent gets a double kill to end this round and tie back up the game for University of Wisconsin.
Yeah, unfortunately for Marquette there, both players, or any players playing on top of rafters in garage, had to fall off those positions or were killed when holding them. So those two Goyo shields that were placed there didn't actually end up coming into effect at all for them. I don't believe any of the Goyo shields actually ended up stopping pushes from anywhere. None of them ended up getting destroyed. So while they had the potential to stop that defense or that attack pretty effectively, they just weren't able to be used quite in time.
Now, as we look towards the scoreboard, Apache's definitely having a really great game, and he will be taking the band at this time, possibly going to be tricking and putting on a little bit of a show for us, as Bandit still, even if the wall does get opened, has an amazing kit with a really fast-firing, really strong MP7, as well as a nitro cell that he might be able to drop off and use below to stop some sort of plant.
And we did see the Mozzie being sixth pick off of onto this castle, which is a very common operator on this site. You're going to use those barricades to block off some of these more important windows and make the attackers have to expend some of their utility to destroy them before they're able to make their way into sight.
Yep, and Castle also having this super shorty is going to take a lot of pressure off of that Maestro with Baboon having the shotgun pistol. It's going to allow both of these players to make these necessary holes for this defense to work. As it does seem, there most likely will be some sort of cache hold with a horizontal roam for these defenders, as Droid and UMP are both setting up inside this cache room and going to try to just hold the entire second floor.
UMP actually able to throw out a Valcam. I do believe he was aiming for the tree, I would imagine, but ended up getting it on top of that white van, which is going to be effective for a little bit unless an attacker ends up just turning around and spotting it out there. It's pretty visible in stark contrast to the white of that van. You're going to see a pretty heavy presence over towards Jacuzzi Wall, with 4 out of the 5 attackers making their way over there to try to get this open as quickly as they can.
Yep, and it's definitely going to be difficult for these attackers to get these bandit batteries off of the wall, as all of the ADSs are protecting those batteries from the lifeline launcher of Zofia. So now they might just go ahead, and there's not any lines of sight opened for these players. They could just funnel straight into gym window if they so desired. However, Droid will be using the pings and trying to get wall bangs, but they will not land, despite Kaifer will take a little bit of damage for that effort. Now Brent will go down to a more aggressive peak, and really using that intel to full effect.
And there is one defender positioned on the bottom floor of garage there. I do believe they're aware of his positioning, but it's still going to be very difficult to take him out. Pickle actually able to get one for himself, takes out Kaifor. Brent still being downed does effectively turn this into a 3v4. As I say that, he is able to get picked back up to 20 HP, and now putting it back into this 4v5 situation that is a little bit more advantageous for the attackers. But Boomin taken out by Baboon, and now back down to that 3v5.
Yep, and this Marquette defense is looking quite strong as their roamers are still alive with a minute left. They've gotten 2 picks for their job as well as killed a whole bunch of time, so their role is being completed quite well. Droid's still holding down cash as much as possible. However, the breach is open, and that's most likely where EK Nolly is going to be trying to push in to get some sort of plant down. There's 45 seconds left, and these Wisconsin Tigers do need to start getting a little bit more aggressive as they push forward here. The Blackbeards are looking and trying to watch the back as he knows Droid is just peeking that window like an absolute madman here. But speaking of madmen, Baboon's going to push up and take EK Nolly down and put the diffuser onto the ground. But now Despair is just running straight in and using Zophia's gun to full effect and taking out everybody in his wake. But Brent will finally take down Baboon in his Reign of Terror as Despair drops UMP and puts it to a 2v2 instance. Pickle is now falling to Brent, and it's all left up to Droid here to take down 2 defenders as he is going to swing out and will get the double kill as he clutches up for Marquette and ends the round with a W.
Yeah, Droid able to save his team from an unfortunate situation on the backs of that Zofia and the Blackbeard, who were able to make some magic happen towards the end of that round. Unfortunately, not quite enough magic left in the tank for him, with Droid being able to swing in from construction and take out those 2 attackers that were lined up right on top of each other.
Yeah, we do have to say the Blackbeard was so close to finishing the plant. However, time was just not on his side, and he had to sit there and type on that computer as Despair did fall at the hands of the Jaeger, and it left the Blackbeard out to dry just a little bit.
Yeah, if we look at the scoreboard here, we do see Wisconsin has spread out the fragging, the brunt of the fragging work across most of their team, and we do see Apache is really carrying the load for Marquette throughout their defending half here. We are going to see, hopefully we'll be able to see him keep this magic up, and Droid is seeming to come to life a little bit with that previous round's clutch.
Yep, and now he is taking the Vigil as we're seeing a repeat of this SSG-esque hold. However, the Mozzie will not be here as they decided to go ahead and bring the Jaeger this time, because maybe they were feeling as if a utility dump was just a little bit too strong on the attacking side, and maybe it was a little bit too close for comfort last time, as it did fall on Apache to make a clutch play to save the round.
Yeah, hopefully I'm interested to see if Wisconsin will be able to read into this same defensive hold and maybe tackle it a little bit more effectively than they were able to last time. Hopefully get some of that drone work now that Mozzie's off the board. They'll have a little bit easier time getting that intel onto these deep roamers on the side of Marquette.
Yep, and now they really know what to expect this time, as the general locations of these players have not switched, but UMP will get the opening frag onto Kiefer here, as Pickle picks up one of his own onto Brent. So now it's the Twitch and the Jackal being taken off the board quite quickly, and that's 2 entry frag operators, as well as the Jackal being taken off. That's going to make it more difficult to find the remaining roamers that are scattered all across the map.
Yeah, unfortunately not an uncommon occurrence for the attackers so far throughout this series, losing those 2 early picks. But we have seen the 3 remaining members of both these teams be able to pull out some magic and at least bring it back into a much closer situation. We do see a drone trying to make its way through dirt, but is met with a mute jammer, unfortunately cutting off any information that they could have gathered with that drone through that dirt tunnel. Looks like he's going to actually reposition it and move it in towards kitchen and further down into bar.
Yep, and UMP is going to opt to go ahead and go up these main stairs. This is the location of these attackers. It's most likely known as Despair has made a lot of noise inside that logistics office. However, the initial pre-fire will not land, and Despair will punish the aggression of the Jaeger this time. However, Droid's going to be sitting idly by, waiting for the Sophia to push forward, and most likely will try to take him off the board and avenge his fallen comrade.
Yeah, and Boomin actually got taken down to very low HP there, now being at around one bullet away from death from almost any gun that they may come into contact with. Does make a little punch hole, tries to distract the castle of Pickle, but Pickle seems to not be really falling for it here. Unfortunately, picks the wrong time to push out, and Boomin is able to pick up that kill, bringing it back into a 3v3.
Yep, and with a 3v3 on the board, Droid is still in a roaming position where he can flank up onto these weakened attackers of Despair and Boomin. EK Nolly still has the diffuser and a whole 100 health on his side, but now Baboon's going to take some shots at him as Droid does flank EK Nolly and put the diffuser straight onto the ground. Boomin now has to take a goo mine out of his leg as Droid goes for the double kill on his flank. Boomin will take out Apache here, and it's left up to a 2v1. Baboon will go ahead and take the shot out onto Boomin and will take the 6-4 lead in favor of Marquette.
Yeah, and now Wisconsin back against the wall, forced to win these next two rounds to force us into an overtime, lest they be brought to their decider map of Villa.
Yep, and Villa is going to be a very similar map in a stark contrast to what we saw first on Coastline, being really frag heavy. When you get to maps like Clubhouse and Villa, they're a lot more strat based, a lot more utility based. So we might see a little bit of a repeat that we're seeing on Clubhouse. However, this game is not over, as Wisconsin just has to win 2 rounds to force this into overtime and can still take this series in a 2-0 fat manner if they get their stuff together.
Yeah, and it's interesting that what is usually the most effective site for a lot of defenses on Clubhouse has proven to be the downfall of both these defenses thus far. Cash being a site that has not actually been won by any defense so far. So we will need to see Marquette break that curse that we've been seeing in order to close out this map.
There actually was one win on Cash.
Oh yeah, there was.
Wisconsin with when they had the alibi.
Missed that on my note
MX4
sheet.
This is just a great gun here, and they took the IQ, which was definitely a linchpin of these attacks. However, Wisconsin is not opting to bring that operator, as their lineup has been quite set in the fact that they bring the double hard breach, they bring a Blackbeard, they bring a Capitan, they either bring that Asher Sophia with Despair, sort of picking and choosing what he wants to do with that. We are seeing UMP and Droid having a little bit of a combination where Droid's probably going to take this intel of this thrown out Valk camera to get quite aggressive on this run out here. Gonna try to use that 416C carbine to full effect and get any unsuspecting attackers that are just trying to get set up for their initial drone work.
Interestingly, they decided to go for that ping so early on. Usually you would opt not to ping on a Valkyrie cam just because you're able to effectively communicate information to your team. Hopefully, Boomin actually able to take out the opening pick onto UMP. Droid does take a little bit of damage when he's trying to rotate back up onto these brick stairs here, making his way over into Cash Room, trying to get as far away from that altercation as possible.
Yep, and we are seeing these nice angles being opened up by the Habana, trying to get some sort of line of sight onto rafters or onto that CCTV window that some people like to rotate in. So now the exothermic charge will be blowing up the wall and creating one more path into sight, but Baboon will just answer straight back and take out EK Nolly with the thermite outside of the breach. However, Brent has the diffuser this round, and he's sitting on CCTV window as a Blackbeard, trying to wait and trying to find somebody waiting idly by, but Baboon's just going to go ahead and get his double kill and take out Boomin, getting a little bit too aggressive on the door, but Apache will also get a kill onto Despair, and it's all steamrolling and all crumbling down for Wisconsin here, as they've lost 3 players in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, Brent and Kai4, the 2 remaining attackers here. Brent hold up on that window there. Kai4 actually able to take out Droid. Unfortunately, gets taken down by himself. in a down but not out state. Pickle ends up finishing off that kill, and we are going to see Baboon still holding this garage wall, going to make it very difficult for Brent to make his way in through here. I imagine Brent's going to try to either take out this pick or make his way up onto the balcony, but it doesn't look like he's going to go for that, and he's going to opt to take this gunfight. Shield gets broken out, going to take a step back and put on a second one as he tries to catch his breath with his half HP left and figure out what he wants to do for this final push.
Yep, Brent is going to go ahead and use his pink outfit, looking fabulous, and hit a fabulous shot onto Baboon holding rafters. However, he does seem to know that the Kite's playing bottom red and will be slow peeking him here with great crosshair placement, taking out the head. Brent is now trying to get this 3v1 clutch, and has a good amount of momentum. He has diffuser, however, he does not have the health advantage, as some pings are going to go out, and the shield is no more. Pickle is just going to sit, take the headshot, and take the map for Marquette, and we will be going to a nice map 3 decider onto Villa.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see that Villa. Great play and awareness from Mozzie. Help from his team with all those pings, able to successfully hold that CCTV site and finish off this map in favor of Marquette.
So we most likely will be taking we want to talk about the frags real quick, because University of Wisconsin did really spread them out just that little bit, as Despair, Boone, and Brent all did have a really great game. However, they weren't able to keep up with just how much pressure Apache was putting on him here. So now we will be most likely taking a 5-minute break, and when we come back, we will be going to Villa.
let's have a bit of fun till our downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you went ahead and are ready now for this Game 3 matchup between Marquette and Wisconsin. Hope you got some popcorn. I hope you got a drink, and I hope you went to the bathroom because you're going to want your eyes glued to the screen for the rest of this map being Villa.
Yeah, very excited to see how Villa plays out. Like we said earlier, it's going to play out more similarly to Clubhouse than our first map of Coastline, both being less frag-heavy maps than Coastline was. We do see a Thatcher ban coming out, which is a pretty common, almost expected ban on most maps nowadays with the current meta, being disallowing that such a useful operator in Thatcher to get rid of all that stopping power utility from defenses.
Yeah, and as this Thatcher is banned, so goes the Habana, making this breaching going to be a whole lot harder. And I think the biggest thing about Villa is once you get rid of that Habana here, all you're left with is the Thermite or the Maverick. And if you opt to go with Thermite, there's a whole lot of places where you can impact trick. And that's probably my favorite part of this map. You can just lob a cheeky little impact grenade and blow up that exothermic charge if you set up your walls correctly.
Yeah, Habana is an operator that you see a lot of play from on this map. So yeah, not having her available could force these attackers to have to rework any potential setups they may have had or pushing strategies they had coming into this. Now we do actually see the Jaeger get banned out. Maybe that might lead us to see a little bit more Wamai play than we had been previously, but it's clear that the attackers are going to want a lot of throwables to be able to be utilized for them.
Yep, and the thing about Villa is also how the walls are set up. Like I said, with that impact tricking, you can most of the time lob a impact nade over the top. However, that does go both ways, as these attackers will be bringing grenades to lob over the other way, possibly destroy any bandit charges, or to really get out those pesky mirrors sitting behind the mirrors. However, Echo will be being brought for the first time today, as he is not banned for one of the few times here, as Maestro and Jaeger felt the wrath of the teams wanting to take them away from Villa.
And that's quite a cheeky play, switching off one really powerful defending operator to just another just as powerful defending operator here, but one that has much different utility. So I'm curious to see if that Echo is able to stay alive late into these rounds, how impactful he'll be able to be during any late round pushes.
Yeah, but speaking of impactful, you definitely have to say that there is a Jackal on the board. We didn't see the Jackal be that successful on Clubhouse. However, Villa is a little bit bigger of a map, and the entire basement is rarely used, except when there's roamers trying to lurk in some dark corners. However, when you can go ahead and use those footsteps to scan them out, it is a lot more wide open in these instances, and there's a lot of areas that these roamers can hide, and having the Jackal is always a nice pocket pick. to be able to find them.
Yeah, and it's interesting. There is no drone denial coming out from the side of Marquette. So Wisconsin will be able to have free reign with those drones to clear out any potential roamers, which we do actually see and Droid both sitting quite far away from site over towards astronomy and master bedroom side.
Yep, and so it is going to be looking like a full study take in this instance, as Kiefer and Brent are going down below, going to most likely be using their shotguns here to blast out some floor and help Boomin on the IQ remove all of these pesky gadgets that might be above inside of the bar area. As Boomin will go ahead and whip out the pistol here and try to take out these bandit batteries and allow EK Nolly to just walk straight in and breach his way into sight.
Unfortunately, we have seen the beams running along the floors be quite a nuisance for IQs so far throughout this series. It's difficult to work around them sometimes if you can't position yourself quite right to be able to get a shot through those metal bars. And it can really be quite annoying to be able to see that utility and not quite be able to clear it out like you wanted to.
Yeah, but in that instance, they're just going to use the Buck shotgun to just open up really far, as well as the Buck's going to use his gun to take out the head of Baboon. And so now that is the Echo gone, and that's a very powerful operator that you want to stay alive. Speaking of alive, Kiefer is going to make sure UMP is not anymore, as the Valkyrie playing inside a 90 is going to relinquish this map control to the attackers that are pushing forward.
And now Droid forced to make his way back over from astronomy towards site. Kaifor actually getting taken down, and then Apache finishing him off. Boomin making his way up the stairs here, trying to go down long hallway. Despair actually able to take out one for himself, putting them in a 2v4 situation with just Pickle and Droid left. As I say that, Pickle goes down to Despair, gets a double kill for himself, and now the roaming Droid is left to defend all alone, and Brent cuts off that rotation before he's able to do anything for his team and gets the first round over towards the way of Wisconsin.
Yep, and that's a very strong message that these Wisconsin attackers are putting forward, as Villa definitely does sometimes lean towards the defender's side. Getting any sort of attacking wins is going to be a statement in itself, especially if you take the first round of the game. You're going to start setting your tempo, and the way Wisconsin did play, they played fast, they played hard, and they got their picks and won their gunfights.
Yeah, and now we're going to see Marquette opt to not try that site for a second time and just instead move straight over to that second primary site of trophy statuary for a lot of these teams. Hopefully able to do a little bit better on this site for themselves, opting to take the Goyo and the Ella, potentially expecting a fast rush coming in from Wisconsin, or at least hoping to delay them when their push eventually does come out.
Yep, and we're going to see a whole flurry of shields coming in, as Apache also has brought a deployable of his own, and will most likely, actually not most likely, he will be using it to help him cover study as some reinforcements go over there as well. Droid is setting up some reinforcements out in the bathroom area of master bedroom. However, he will just most likely be going to roam pretty deep off site with UMP.
Yeah, I want to point out that we did see Baboon get taken out so early on into that last round. Hopefully he is able to stay alive a little bit longer. Probably going to take up a little bit more of a defensive position here. Try to keep his way out of any firefights until very late in the round, when he can actually make effective use of those Echo drones that he has positioned throughout both of these sites.
Yeah, the only thing about the Echo drones is that they're still useful in the instance where you can still ping on them and your teammates can still watch them even if you're dead, and so they can still give the information here. But speaking of information, it does seem as if Brent is gonna take some intel from a drone and wall bang down Pickle onto the ground using Buck in his full entry dragging manner. Speaking of that, Kiefer will get another entry kill onto Droid and start to whittle down this Marquette defense to 3 people after just 1 minute of play.
And again, UMP being forced to come off of his roam and make his way closer towards site. Brent actually trying to line up that grenade, does blow up some of the floor, doesn't actually get any damage. Brent takes a second one for himself on that roaming bandit that we saw earlier. Apache makes his way down astronomy stairs and is able to take a headshot right through the back of Despair's head, but Kai4 able to quickly refrag that and put it down into a 1v4 situation, leaving Baboon all alone on this Echo.
Yeah, it's definitely the opposite of what we saw last time, as Baboon is going to be the last one alive, and he's taken down Kiefer to put it a little bit into a better situation. So 1v3 here, as Nolly is going to start planting the bomb, but now the Buck will fall to the MP5 and put it in a 1v2. However, it's going to be a full retake situation, as Baboon does get the second kill and put it into a 1v1 situation. He really has a good shot in this, as Boomin is sitting in a very passive angle over towards Study. He doesn't have a direct line on the diffuser, so in theory he could just pop that Goyo shield and start the diffuse. However, Boomin is now reading into his work here and will take out Baboon and crush any hopes of that beautiful clutch that we just saw.
Yeah, Baboon did start going for that disable. Unfortunately, did hear Boomin push up through astronomy, popped off, and wasn't able to get those shots off in time to make that clutch happen. And just like that, another attacking round goes the way of Wisconsin.
Yeah, and off the beginning of the round, Wisconsin just looked absolutely unstoppable, as their roam clear was just so methodical, so fast, and so powerful, as they just bulldozed their way into a whole lot of map control. However, Baboon really proved that he is a very strong operator and a very strong player that can clutch if he needs to, and it was so close to getting a 1v4 in that instance, but Boomin just was a little bit too much to handle.
Yeah, unfortunately, he was in a position where he had to retake and disable that diffuser. If he had gotten down to that 1v1 with the diffuser not planted yet, it might have been a much different story. But we are going to see now Marquette opt to go back towards that Aviator Games site, realizing that both of these sites didn't work out for them the first time, but thinking they have a little bit better of a chance to make AVG work for them instead of that trophy statuary room again.
Yeah, and I do think actually, well, I guess if you factor out the clutch heroics of Baboon, it was a little bit closer as we look towards Aviator Games, both of those the first round here, as we are seeing a very similar lineup in this instance. However, there are going to be a smoke playing a little bit closer to home as opposed to the mute. Probably going to be trying to use those toxic babes to cut off any door run-ins and protect the site just a little bit better.
And UMP opting to go off of that Valkyrie onto this Vigil. Maybe the cams weren't quite providing just enough intel, and he thought he could do a little bit better with his roam on that Vigil to protect him from being spotted out by the impeccable drone work that we've seen so far from Wisconsin. We actually saw Brent earlier on in that last round able to get a few kills based solely off of the drone work from his teammates and from himself.
Yep, and it's gonna look like they're gonna provide very similar paths to what we saw before. However, UMP is playing quite aggressive here inside of Piano and trying to catch this Buck jumping into the window in a quite helpless state. So now he will spot out of the feet of the Vigil with that drone. He's going to pretend like he didn't see him as Boomin pushes all the way into the library and does seem to know as if the bandit is right around the corner here. However, UMP will get the better of Brent, but Boomin will take out Droid. Is now Baboon is going to take a kill onto Despair, and after a flurry of kills, Marquette does have the man advantage at 4-3.
Yeah, and UMP actually able to survive down after taking out Brent, takes up a position inside of over by Art Studio there, in a position that I don't believe Wisconsin is aware that he is in anymore, and it looks like he might end up getting a lucky kill onto Kaifor, who wasn't aware of that position. Yep, just like that, makes it down to a 4v2 situation now, all on the backs of Boomin and EK Nolly here. They do have Diffuser in hand, so it's not like they have to go on a mission to recover that, but it's going to be very difficult for them to make this happen for themselves.
Yeah, but we have seen crazier things, as we almost saw Baboon hit a full 1v4 clutch. However, he does have a teammate this time as well as the diffuser here, as AK Nolly is going to start getting a little bit aggressive over towards Classical Hall. 90, and they're going to try to push straight into sight as Baboon's going to reposition himself into a more safe location. Boomin will take the initial pick onto UMP and take his reign of terror down from the get-go. So now 40 seconds left. There's 3 defenders left, and the breach is breaking into sight. As EK Nolly is going to be trying to use this shield to his advantage, as Pickle is showing off some great movement, popping in and out of cover, and going to be pre-firing over towards this breach, trying to take EK Nolly out.
With 20 seconds left, Boomin is trying to make his way over towards a flank. It looks like try to get a sandwich attack onto these remaining anchors left on site. Apache actually ends up taking out EK Nolly, but Boomin takes him right back down. Now has to fight these 2 defenders, one playing behind the pool table inside of games, unfortunately not able to get that last pick off, and Pickle secures the round for his team.
Yep, and it definitely was all left up to the anchors right there, and Pickle had a smart use of the gas canisters, as well as the nice lines of sight opened up from the other bomb area that his other teammates were helping to hold.
Yeah, now having successfully held that aviator game site, they're going to move back over to that other site they failed earlier, Trophy Statuary. Hopefully make better use of their roamers like they were able to in that previous round, as opposed to those first 2 rounds where the roamers didn't really seem to have much of an impact at all, being taken out so early due to the extensive drone work from Wisconsin.
Yeah, and once those roamers did stay alive and got a couple picks, that's where Marquette was able to find their success. So now Baboon is opting to go ahead and take the cap can, actually just show the cap can, and switch back onto that Echo he's been loving in getting some good kills on. Capcan would have been a really interesting pick if he was to put those traps over towards the entry points of Wisconsin, as they are just taking very aggressive map control. He could punish them with a quick 50 bit of health, but from a competitive mindset and utility sort of perspective, Baboon onto the Echo is definitely going to bring a little bit more to his team.
I do see Pickle getting moved off the smoke in favor of a pulse pick and relinquishing the smoke duties over to Apache. And that pulse is most likely going to pay some huge dividends for this defense. Hopefully able to get some spots out on that heartbeat sensor. Maybe get a nice C4 throw up onto the ceiling and kill somebody through there. Maybe going in towards a nice cheeky plant or holding an angle from somewhere, and help out his team a little bit like that. We are going to see UMP making his way over into study here, trying to hold a very aggressive angle on these 2 attackers that are trying to push through that side of the site and make their way on the long haul through this map, actually opting to move their way around and not go through there, maybe having realized that they were going to have to deal with that roamer so early on.
Yep, and so we are seeing Pickle take out his cardiac sensor and use his legal wall hacks to find this exact location of Brent. So now his location is known, and the drone work of the Echo will help in conjunction to this pulse. However, the Ella just doesn't seem to know that the IQ is coming up behind, and that's a great flank from Boomin coming all the way up from basement and getting 2 kills for his journey.
Yeah, and Pickle unfortunately caught inside of that cardiac sensor, having to put it away before getting his head taken off by Boomin, making his way through there, getting those first 2 picks. Those picks that could end up being crucial for this attack. And now, with these 3 players left alone on the board, UMP actually does a nice little run out onto the balcony, takes off ends up taking out Despair, and that's some heavy fragging power off the board for Wisconsin. UMP actually gets his second one onto EK Nolly here, re-evening it back up to this 3v3 situation. Apache, just as I say that, takes it back down into a 3v2.
Yep, but Brent and Boomin is still on the board, as Apache will fall to a 2v2. Boomin takes his 3rd kill of the round, and now he'll be using his utility to try to help flush out any sort of gadgets here. Baboon's still left on the board, and that's not an operator you want as the time dwindles away, as Echo's yokai drones offer a lot of intel, as well as they can pop a supersonic burst that can stop your defuse in its track. However, that's where Boomin comes in, and his IQ scanner will be looking for those yokai drones sitting on the ceiling with their cloaks as this round goes forward.
We do see Brent trying to get some drone work out on from astronomy stairs, but UMP picks up his third kill of the round onto him from inside of bathroom, and now it's all on Boomin here. And now having to break this barbed wire, he is probably going to give his position away to these defenders, and he will have to take these fights one by one, lest he be forced into a situation where he's in an unwinnable gunfight.
However, these two defenders are playing quite isolated, and UMP does have a lot of health taken off him, as now they does fall here, and he's going to be trying to take out Baboon. There's 4 seconds left, and he does fall, and Marquette will take the round as the Echo will clutch out finally. He finally gets his clutch that he's been going for.
Yeah, he finally managed to do it, and just like that, he evens up the round count to 2-2 here. And now we're gonna have to see a new sight come out for Marquette, having won the previous 2 rounds and making their way down to dining room kitchen and try to set up a different defensive hold than we've seen thus far. Hopefully, gonna have a very similar roam presence. Usually, you're gonna see a lot of vertical roaming here on a kitchen defense, as those soft walls, if you do allow the attackers to open up those floors, it creates a lot more pressure put onto those anchors that you have on site.
Yeah, and as we were seeing Kiefer go ahead and 6-pick off the Jackal onto that sledge, because the traditional soft breach role of a buck and sledge is definitely a necessity as you're pushing towards this dining room kitchen site. Vertical presence is king as you attack forward, and it's a necessity if you want to be successful on your attack or defense.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what positions the roamers from Marquette decide to take up. I do imagine they've been favoring a deep roam so far, so I don't think they'll be straying far away from that in this round. But Pickle opting to reinforce those walls inside of those statuary wall into master bedroom, hoping to maybe give himself a little bit of defense, trying to hold off any push that comes through closet into master bedroom.
And Baboon will actually be bringing a yokai drone all the way upstairs to help supplement any roamers that are playing up there, trying to keep the map control as long as possible. Pickle and Droid are going to do their dual roam once again as Apache joins him for the trio.
Yeah, and there is a lot of presence upstairs as we predicted earlier. Yeah, like we said, this site being so difficult to defend if you do allow those attackers to have that top floor control. I imagine we're going to see another bout of intensive drone work come out from Wisconsin, as they've shown us time and time again thus far. You do see Kiefer going for that drone, gets taken out by Apache, but now that drone being taken out does give away the location of Apache to these attackers.
Yep, and Kiefer's definitely gonna need to get inside of that master bedroom and statue area, trying to use that breaching hammer to its maximum potential. But now we're seeing UMP open up at the top of the walls as Apache gets the kill onto Kiefer and removes the soft breach off the board. By removing the top of that breached wall, he's able to lob some nitros over and maybe take out the thermite as they're trying to breach. But we're seeing this Mute just be very aggressive and forward towards these hard breachers that are trying to take laundry control.
Yeah, EK Nolly taking a little bit of damage there from that altercation with UMP. UMP actually making his way back towards that laundry area to try to defend any pushes coming from there. Boomin takes a little bit of damage from the Echo in the hands of Baboon yet again. I do believe that drone was unfortunately just captured upstairs. There's another bit of intel gone. Baboon takes out the head of Boomin there and brings his team into a 5v3 situation with just over a minute left in this round.
It is looking like Marquette's staying strong with their defense, but speaking of that, Despair will push in and take out UMP and take Memorial control here as Droid rotates and is going to try to stop that from happening. Brent's on the Blackbeard, and now they are going to go ahead and get the breach open on the back of the Thermite. Brent's pushing in here and will fall to the Ella of Droid, playing around in that art storage memorial area. Despair's now watching the hatch drop and protecting Nolly as he does need to get this breach open quickly. However, there is a mute jammer still there, and that's going to spell some disaster as a quick audible needs to be called as Pickle hears the quick drop and leaves a 1v4 clutch opportunity for Despair. However, there's 20 seconds left and he doesn't have the diffuser, so he's going to have to get quite aggressive and start getting frags quite quickly.
Yeah, it seems like he seems a little bit lost right now, making his way through those stairs. Actually, unfortunately, able to get taken out by Droid, who was waiting for that push. Seemed to be. He heard that breach go out, and yeah, unfortunately, not able to make that 1v4 clutch happen, and another successful defense coming out from Marquette.
Yep, and that is 3 in a row as they have definitely found their feet and they found their sea legs as they're swimming around in Villa defense. They started off down 2 rounds and now they're up on 3 in a row, trying to make it 4 and making sure that they have the round advantage after halftime.
Opting to go back to AVG for their last defensive hold of this half. They have a 1-1 record on this site, but that second defense of AVG seemed to go very well for them. They had a very effective defensive strategy worked out. Their roamers did a really good job, and if they're able to do the same thing again, I imagine we could see a repeat result.
Essentially what I'm seeing out of this map on this defensive side is if Marquette's roamers are able to get a kill or two, then that's when they win the rounds. However, if the roam clear is fully successful and these players such as UMP and Droid fall without wasting either enough time or getting enough picks, that's where the defense sort of crumbles. And on a map like Villa, that's so meticulous and you have to play in very certain ways. There's a lot of utility dump and a lot of other drone work that has to be done, and as you waste more and more time, that's when the roaming is very valuable. That's when you get players having to put themselves into very uncomfortable situations and sprint through a door with 5 seconds left as 4 people are aiming at it.
Yeah, exactly. That is going to be a very difficult situation if the attack ends up in it. But we do see a almost identical defensive setup to the last time Marquette held this site. Droid taking up an aggressive roam hold inside of library here, looking for any people that try to enter through this first floor. And now getting spotted out, has to make his way over to a different hold and hopefully be able to stay alive and waste some more time for his team.
And we saw UMP just put a punch hole watching the door here. However, the drone will ping him, and he will have to fall off that position, as Brent unfortunately is not able to land any of those wall bangs. Now, Apache actually does have a rotate hole behind him inside of Classical Hall, giving him a good amount of 90 control in conjunction with the shield that he's set up and definitely hooked up with a little bit of those magnets. However, actually is down from below, and that's what that ash charge was way early. We're also seeing Brent cook a grenade and try to kill somebody from beneath. However, it will not land despite a great bank shot attempt.
Unfortunately, we do see over on our spectator UI a lot of the drones on the side of Wisconsin have been taken out. Kaifor actually able to get the opening pick for his team, staying alive on this Jackal long enough to hopefully get some footprint scans, but it doesn't look like he's in an area where the defenders have had a lot of foot traffic thus far.
Yeah, and that stalemate might have been just a little bit too long, as now Pickle is going to tie it up, and there's a minute left with 4 defenders and 4 attackers remaining. A lot of these players are on site, besides Droid, who's just chilling and waiting for a flank down from the Master side. Buck's going to be using that Master Key shotgun to try to create some vertical pressure from down beneath, as there are a good amount of anchors left on site over near pool table, but Baboon will get another pick onto Kiefer, and that's the Jackal gone. So now the Ella can rest a little bit more easier, as her location will stay anonymous with her footsteps being gone now. So now Brent is going to be just popping over more and more lines of sight here. But now Droid will finally make his presence known, and known it will, as EK Nolly falls to the Vector at a very long range. It's all left up to Brent and Despair, and they have a 4v2 mountain to climb. There's 13 seconds left, and the diffuser needs to go down, but the Echo now goes down here, and some trades are going out. Despair is trying to get this diffuser plant down, and but he will fall as Pickle peeks out aggressively and now falls back into safety and takes the half 4-2 for Marquette.
Yeah, unfortunately, like you were saying, that stalemate lasted a little bit too long for Wisconsin to recover and be able to have a successful push. They were working heavily against the clock there, and once that diffuse planter was taken out, it seemed all hope was lost. And as we saw, yeah, unfortunately, that the time just ran out on him. And I want to highlight the fact that because the anchors were able to stay alive for as long as they were, it really did allow Ella the freedom to not have to rotate back to site as quickly as she may have had they died, which let her put a little bit more pressure and just be in the back of the minds of that attack towards the end of the round.
Yeah, and she was able to just rotate on her own accord. She didn't feel rushed. She didn't have to really get into an uncomfortable situation. She just took her time, made no noise, pushed up 90, and got an easy kill onto EK Nolly, who was trying to get into sight and get a breach going on. Maybe get a little bit of a diffuse.
And for Wisconsin here, you're going to need to see a very heavy and effective roam presence like we saw from Marquette. It's going to be difficult to meet a push face on this site with all the utility that's being brought out from Marquette's attack, with all that soft breach and the Capitao able to force out any anchors from their positions so he choose.
Yep, and so after this side switch, we're seeing some very similar lineups coming out, as Brent has opted to take the Echo this time, but Kiefer will be introducing the Goyo to the mix. Boomer's also playing on a dock, which might be a little bit of a difficult operator to take out if he's holding 90 with those nice long angles.
We are going to see a pretty comprehensive clear coming out from Marquette's attack of this first floor. Boomin making his way over onto red stairs here, hoping to catch out any attackers pushing in. Does get spotted out by this drone. Chooses to back up just a little bit, but still hold that angle a little bit tighter. Hopefully waiting for somebody to make a fast push, thinking they have the intel on him.
Yep, and so now the rest of this drone clear is coming up as Pickle's using his Master Key shotgun to just blast open the floor and cut any utility down in its wake. Maybe try to find an unsuspecting defender if he can do so.
We're seeing a lot of the focus of this attack over towards the site side of the map. Not many attackers coming from that master bedroom site. We do see Baboon able to get a nice pick onto Boomin early on into the round through that doorway. Unfortunate for the defense of Wisconsin having one less person to hold those long angles, and then Despair taking a lot of damage up on top of that games bar. EK Nelly actually able to take out Pickle, evening it back up, but Apache able to take out Despair. Kaifor looks like he's sitting on about 1 HP here. Unfortunate for him. If you breathe on Kaifor right now, he would probably end up dying.
Yep, and same thing with EK Nolly, as he's down below around like 15 HP, and that's one shot from most guns in the game. However, a lot of players have taken a good amount of damage, but the health advantage is definitely in towards Marquette as Brent goes ahead, and wow, that's a whole lot of trades. It's a whole flurry, and Marquette does end up on top and will take a 5-2 lead on Villa.
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't see really any roam presence at all come out from Wisconsin, and that seemed to be their ultimate downfall, because having recognized this, Marquette realized that they had free reign to do really whatever they wanted on the map without having to worry about any flanks. So that knowledge really emboldened them to take the fight to the defense as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and you definitely need to push as a unit, as we saw Marquette do. They did a lot of beautiful drone work, but you definitely need to have some sort of roam present if you're on the side of University of Wisconsin Whitewater. It, the roam presence probably will be coming out as now Boomin has decided to bring out the pulse this time, trying to use that cardiac sensor to full force, maybe get a nitro cell down from below, but mainly just feed as much intel to his fellow defenders as possible.
Yeah, now with actually 4 nitro cells on the side of Wisconsin, I imagine we're going to see a lot of, hopefully, a lot of damage at least coming out from some nice tosses. I imagine we're going to see them breaking open the tops of a lot of these reinforced walls, hopefully being able to get some nice C4 tosses over those and taking out any unsuspecting attackers through that may be lying in wait in those hallways.
Yep, definitely hallways are very long in Villa, and they hold quite nicely to holding them. Even if you're a defender without an ACOG, these hallways are still very difficult to push in, as you can be exposed from really long lines of sight, as well as a couple of doorways as you pass them.
And we do see Pulse, like we've predicted, making his way downstairs, trying to gather some intel, playing very far away from sight, maybe predicting a push from the opposite side, not unlike what we saw in this first round. But unfortunately for him, we're not going to see that happen. Kaifor actually takes a lot of damage in the initial altercation of this round, and now he's going to be forced to fall back from that red stairs position and give up that real estate to this attacking side from Marquette.
Yeah, and now we are going to actually see a possible nitro through the floor, but Kiefer will have it be unfortunately stuck onto a random piece of wood that's just sitting there. So now he's going to be a little bit aggressive on the shield and will be punished accordingly. So as Baboon will lose around 60% of his health, but Kiefer will be lost on the Wisconsin side. So now with a man advantage and a minute 45 seconds left, it does seem as if Marquette's going to start pushing in and try to execute, get a breach down, get some smokes with that Capital and get a plant.
And Boomin actually able to even it back up for his team using that cardiac sensor to gain some powerful information. Gets a nice kill running around the corner into that doorway onto Droid, putting his team back in the advantage. Again, like you were saying, Baboon, pretty low HP here. Going to have to play a little bit more carefully than he might want to. Pulse does get some more information, able to take out UMP there and a drone for his troubles. And now a 4v2 situation with Apache and Baboon left all alone. Baboon goes down, and now it's just up to Apache. Diffuser in hand. We have seen him in situations like this before. Is able to take out EK Nolly, puts it back into a 3v1. And now Boomin's going to have to make his way over to where Apache is sitting to try to get some intel for his team. Unfortunately, does get taken out by a C4, by a Claymore that was placed there earlier, waiting for that flank to come out. And now it's just down to the 2 anchors of Brett and Despair to deal with this late round push from Apache. Unfortunately, gets taken out by the Goyo shield and just ends the round there for Wisconsin Whitewater.
Yep, and that's a really great flank. And the Thermite does get roasted and toasted by those Goyo shields. And that's exactly why those Goyo shields are in that position. It really makes taking Classical Hall so difficult, as you can just get a lucky or stray bullet onto the back of those Goyo shields and they just erupt into flames. Make it very, very difficult to stand in them without dying.
And now with that round win, Wisconsin has put a halt to the 5-round win streak of Marquette. And now they're going to be forced to move over to that trophy statuary defense here. Again, hoping for a little bit more of a roam presence than we saw in that first defensive round. It looks like we are going to see that with Kaifor actually taking this vigil here, just trying to not get spotted out by those drones. And both of these teams thus far have had some pretty heavy drone presence on their attacking sides, which has paid a lot of dividends for them here, helped them out immensely at clearing out those roamers. And for Kaifor here to be on that vigil and not have to worry quite as much about being spotted out, it's going to make his job as a roamer a little bit easier.
Yep, and so going over towards this trophy statue site is going to be a little bit more interesting as we're seeing a decently similar lineup. However, Kiefer will be switched off the Goyo straight onto this vigil and we'll be going for a little bit of a ride here and going on a deep roam this time.
We do see the bandit coming out and reinforce and putting those batteries onto those master bedroom walls. And with Habana unavailable here, it's a lot more difficult to get those open with only that thermite having to push so close up to the walls to get that exothermic charge down and putting himself in a lot of danger, requiring a lot of effort from his teammates to hold any angles he might be vulnerable to. We do see Kaifor on a very deep roam inside of basement, waiting to hear any footsteps, trying not to get spotted out by drones, as I don't think we're going to see any drones head down to basement for Marquette. And that could be very valuable for Kaifor if he's able to stay unspotted for a very long time throughout this round.
Yep, and this round is going to be very important as if Marquette does win, they will hit that 6-point match point, series point threshold. So Wisconsin definitely doesn't want to relinquish any more rounds if they don't have to, as their pickle is going to go ahead and be using that Master Key shotgun to blast underneath that bandit and make it impossible for him to do that bandit tricking that most of those German Lightning players love to do so, as now he will go ahead and throw the nitro, but it's a little bit too early and will not land onto the thermite, as Baboom does get the opening pick onto... I didn't even get to catch that, as Boom goes absolutely crazy, gets the double kill onto both of the breach of Baboon and Apache. So now it's a 4v3 instance, and Wisconsin has taken the lead back on this round. Boomin and the rest of these players are now taking some shots over towards some drones coming in on Master, and Diffuser is down inside that room.
And now with the gridlock being down, it leaves Kaifor able to do his job a little bit more effectively, not have to worry about those tracks stopping his roams, and he's able to have a little bit more free reign. Kaifor actually able to down Droid inside of Kitchen there and take him out with the Pokeball kill. UMP, as I say that, takes the head off Boomin, putting it back into a 2v3 situation. Kaifor trying to make a nice run, but gets his head taken off from a long angle being held by UMP, and now it's just down to Despair and EK Nale, and EK Nale having taken a little bit of damage, I believe, from UMP as well.
Yeah, but UMP is going to keep on holding this angle, as now they have brought it back to a 2v2 instance, as he's going to push up here and get the opening pick onto EK Nolly, leaving Despair into a clutch situation. However, the diffuser is going down and the time is dwindling, as a Nitro Cell is going to toss out, but not fully connect onto UMP. His position is known by Despair, as he is playing close left on this wall, and the key of this clutch is going to be taking out this Sophia quite quickly, as now he sees the gun barrel and is going to go ahead and pre-fire him down and stop the possibility of a withstand. Pickle does have not a whole lot of HP left on him, but he's playing very passive inside a bathroom, as Despair does seem to think he's over into Master Bedroom. He could be a little bit sneaky on this flank, and the flank he does, as Pickle takes the round for Marquette once again.
Yeah, and with that kill, he takes Marquette up to match point here, and now Wisconsin, with their backs against the wall, have to successfully complete a full rotation of these defensive sites if they want to force overtime here.
Yep, and so now we're in the point of where it is do or die for University of Wisconsin. Any round loss after this point until overtime will spell the end of their season, and Marquette will move on to the next round. They just need one more round, and this is about as good as much pressure as it can get for either of these sides. This is map 3, match point of your first. I believe this is both of their teams' first CEA playoff games ever, which is quite interesting, as they are playing very well and might be new to the league in this instance.
Yeah, we are going to see Droid opting to 6th pick off the Ash onto the Jackal, hoping to get some footprints scanned, maybe make better use of it than when it was in the hands of Marquette's attack. staying alive a little bit longer, able to maybe pick up some feet of those roamers. We're going to see Kaifor opting for that vigil yet again. I would imagine we're going to see a very similar roam setup, and as we did the previous round. Other than that, we do see almost an identical defensive operator lineup. Again, EK Nolly opting for that bandit. Gonna put those batteries again on those master bedroom walls, and it will be up to Buck to get rid of those batteries as soon as possible, so that they can get those walls open and prep for a plant.
Yes, last round we did see the Buck of Pickle go ahead and open that up. However, the drone work was not quite extensive enough, and Boomin was able to just walk straight up inside a bathroom and take out the thermite as he was placing down the charge. So most likely that's not going to be allowed to happen again if Wisconsin is, or if Marquette is going to be droning properly, as now they know the exact setup of how Wisconsin does want to play this defense. There's a whole lot of drone work going down as both Pickle and Droid are entering downstairs. There's a whole lot of drone work, making sure that there's no roamers creeping around inside of this kitchen dining room area. So now Pickle will go ahead and just start blasting that Master Key shotgun as he's done most rounds, removing those bandit batteries to help out his team.
Now Kaifor making his way over towards these attackers, now having gotten information from his team as to where some of them are playing from. He did choose to start his roam from a different position than he had last round, and it might pay off for him, seeing as how the attack of Marquette seems to have not droned out his position very effectively at all, and I don't believe they know where he might be coming from. We do see Brent hop onto that Echo drone, get a nice little bit of information there. We do see, and then we see, I believe, UMP moving in to bathroom here, trying to take a fight with Brent, but ends up taking the head off of Brent behind that deployable shield, gets a second one for himself onto EK Nolly, and just like that, UMP has astronomy control. But Boom and Despair get two for themselves. Apache gets another one, and now we're in a 2v3 situation with Kaifor still alive on this nice little roam. With diffuser getting planted, that C4 not able to do much, and Kaifor not giving away his position by taking away those shots, and not being able to get any kills with it. Unfortunately, right as I say that, he gets one. Droid gets another, and Pickle able to finish the round, and just like that, Marquette has eliminated Wisconsin Whitewater from the playoffs.
Yeah, that was definitely a great round to do it, as the rest of this teamwork just popped off, and all of those trades just fell straight into the hands of Marquette. So after this, we have gone on quite the marathon of 3 games today, and at the end of it, it does seem as if Marquette will be standing victorious and going on to the next round. In addition to that, we will be getting an interview here, as one of the Marquette players will be joining us, and we can pick their brain a little bit and see what was happening behind the scene in the comms side of the game.
Yeah, that last round went very, very quickly. Um, I almost couldn't keep up with the action there. I had no idea how few players were left alive. It all happened so quickly. That diffuser did almost get planted, but didn't end up needing to be towards the end of that round. We are trying to get somebody here in for the interview. Not quite sure who yet, but we should have them in our call pretty quickly for you guys. Overall, that series was pretty interesting to watch. We did see a lot of ups and downs from both teams. A lot of them able to overcome um, and put a stop to the momentum from the other side quite regularly. We did see, unfortunately, it was for naught at the end of the day, but Wisconsin Whitewater in that Villa map that we just saw was able to put a stop to a 5-round bout of momentum from Marquette. But as I said, unfortunately, not quite enough to push them into overtime, but it was a valiant effort nonetheless.
Yep, and that's going to be the continuation of this Cinderella story. This is the Marquette B team that could, as they're going to continue trekking along in playoffs, as now we are going to be bringing Pickle in here, who was that great Buck main that we saw do so much utility here. He will be coming in just a few seconds. Hello
What?
and welcome, Pickle. How are you doing
Hello.
tonight?
I'm doing fantastic.
So, how does it feel to get your first playoff win today?
That feels really great. We were pretty worried about playing them since we have previously never beaten them in the past, so it was really felt really good to beat them today.
So, does that mean you guys have a good amount of experience playing with each other? I know you guys are both from Wisconsin.
Yeah, we do. We are kind of rivals. We know each other personally, so
That's that was really great that we caught this stream then, because it did seem as if both teams were playing with their absolute hearts out and trying to just push as much as possible.
yes, sir.
Alrighty, Bagel, do you have any questions in specific to ask him?
Um, I'm just curious about so when you found yourselves in situations where the momentum seemed to be not on your side, what was your mentality like going into those rounds after having lost so many or a few in a row? Did you let it get to you, or were you able to bounce back and recuperate in order to take back that momentum onto your side?
I mean, it definitely got to us a little bit. You know, it's hard to have that not affect you. But especially well for maps like Coast our Clubhouse. It got to us a little bit there on attack. When we lost a couple of our first attacks, it was like, "Okay, this isn't working, but we know we can attack here next, and we know we got it, so let's just take that and go round by round." So, we kinda just when things started to get tougher, like, just look at the next round and go from there.
Yeah, it seems to be the way to do it, way to overcome that momentum shift. I just
Yep.
have one last question before I'll pass it back off to CDEFs. How do you feel now? How are you going to prepare for your upcoming match against? I believe you're going to be playing the winner of a match between South Arkansas and Florida Polytech. Do you have any experience with those two teams at all?
Not that I know of. Wait, what's the first team again? We might play them.
South Arkansas University.
Oh, no, yeah, we've played them before, they're pretty good. We tied them in league play, but we won off, RD. So, they're pretty good, we have experience playing them. We've never played Florida before, so we're gonna have to do a lot of scouting for them. But either way, VOD review, looking at their strats, you know, counter stratting.
Good. And CDEFs, do you have any questions left?
Yeah, so it did seem like you guys definitely were a little bit more comfortable on the more strat heavy maps, such as the Villa and Clubhouse that you took forward. Does that mean that you guys are going to try to work on like some of the more frag heavy maps, such as Coastline in this instance?
Yeah, we definitely need to work on that. Those were kinda newer strats, because Coastline has been classically our weaker map, because we are a very strat heavy team. And, so yeah, we just gotta refine those strats for Coastline, I think we'll be golden.
Yep, and so I just once again want to say congratulations, as you guys did play a very great game today. And
Thank you.
so I'll go ahead and pass it over to Bagel and let him thank our sponsors one more time.
So yeah, we're gonna be thanking Corsair, one of our biggest sponsors so far this season, helping to increase our prize pools, put some peripherals into that pot for any teams that end up winning these playoffs in both our invite and open series. We also want to thank What's New for providing us and helping us put together an awesome line of merch. I know it includes some really nice joggers and a dad cap that I might have to get for myself. I've fallen to favor of dad caps recently, so might have to get that one. And then our final sponsor, uh, Rogue Energy. There, something that I would have needed a lot last cast as I was coming in pretty tired, but helping keep us all awake throughout these late nights and any playoff games that we have going forward. So thank you to all those three sponsors, and that's it for me.
Yep, and just make sure to use code CEA at checkout at Rogue Energy. You will go ahead and get 10% off. So we will be having some more streams this week, so make sure you go ahead and watch out, as tomorrow at 8:30 you will see New Jersey Institute of Technology take on Florida International in the round of 32, which is going to be a really good game. And if you tune in on Saturday, there will be Sheridan College versus University of Akron B team. So make sure to keep your eyes open for that. And I've been CDAPS,
And I've been Bagel.
and I hope you guys have a great night.
Wishing that I could imprison my fear, just pull me away, pull me away. Secret fantasies of me. Will they ever see the light of day, light of day? I don't know where you are, but I will find you. I will find you. So if you're out there, just run until the edge and fall into me and see where this could end. Make our own life and leave this world behind. Can you hear me? Do you feel me? I don't know where you are, but I will find you. I will find you. Wishing that I could run away with you. Imprison my fear, just pull me away, pull me away. Secret fantasies of me.